All right, coming into this, we see Loco Doco. I'm already doing caster voice. God damn it. All right, coming into this, we see Loco Doco on the Space Cassidy with that satellite hammer versus part of the Creed playing that pink Koji. Very unorthodox for Creed. Usually he likes his Ember, but he's got the bow on both characters, so I can understand why he might be playing around with Koji.
Yeah, usually with that Ember, he likes to stick to Katars a lot, but he still does dabble in the bow, and we're going to see that overlap here with Koji. We're going to see a lot of decks with Koji, too, that Ember doesn't quite have.
Exactly. Koji's definitely a little bit more popular as of late, especially on the NA side of things. A lot of people have been picking up Koji. Most notably, LDZ has been loving that Koji, and you can see why just now. Part of the Creed already took off a stock from Loco Doco, but I mean, we're seeing a little bit of discomfort, not able to find a weapon, and gets shot into the sky.
It's pretty much been the sword meta, as you said, in NA for a very, very long time. Originally, it started with Bodvar, but now it's kind of continued further on, and Koji has taken up the reins as kind of one of the main forerunners in terms of character picks.
Why do you think that Koji's kind of taken over that front runner spot? Because I'm sure you're aware Bodvar used to be that big name, and then to a degree Hattori kind of became popular. Why do you think Koji's now making that top spot?
With the advent of Koji and Bo before that, Hammer kind of started to fall off a little bit, which is why people started to play Bodvar maybe a little bit less. Koji with that Bo already doesn't have a lot of recovery time on it, and with that Koji 8 decks, tied for the highest decks in the game on any character, you're gonna have very little lag whenever you miss your attacks.
All right, and we see right there that low end lag bow ground pound takes down Loco Doco. I think it's time to turn it over to Sheepie and see if she has notes, or are we gonna go for 2?
I thought you were going for 2.
I would say just let us go for a little while. Then when
Just
a couple
go.
things when a couple things pile up that you want to mention, just say, all right, here are those things.
Just go.
All right, so we're coming back into this. Loco Doco switched up characters. He's now thrown away the guns and is mixing it up. Is going to be picking up a lance, and additionally has a lot more force on this Scarlet pick.
Scarlet, a long time ago, people called her a glass cannon, which wasn't really an apt description.
Yeah.
She
had like 5 defense. Yeah.
And how much force does she have? She have 8?
8. That's a big ol' 8 force. That is tied for the top alongside Taros.
8 force, 5 defense, and okay, part of the Creed is
Creed,
just he knows how to play bow. I don't know if he just doesn't know how to play guns at all. I
mean, that's not, that wasn't weapon discomfort. That was just not thinking at all. He just brain farted, might have panicked, you know, deer in the headlight situation, and just, he went ground pounded straight into that mine.
But he is Loco right now in the shenanigan area. Hammer is a little bit interesting. Its side air is not the strongest in terms of offstage play, but Hammer down air incredibly strong, and Hammer recovery still one of the strongest moves in the game, even after they made the active frame smaller and the hitbox a little bit smaller. I think
Pugsy has to disagree with you on the statement of side air is not as strong in the offstage plays. Pugsy's one of those guys who when he's off stage, he'll pull you underneath the map and side air you into a really awkward position, and he makes that side air work because, I mean, like you were saying, the vertical game of the Hammer is incredibly strong. Ground pound, a lot of force. Recovery is just so good at repositioning your opponent, and it also has an incredible amount of force behind it. But that side air is also a very handy tool when you're in that aerial, especially underneath the map, and Pugsy is one of those people who can show it off.
That's actually something that we've started to see in the past few months with pretty much every weapon, is the side air game deep onto the stage. It's not just about sending your opponent straight down with a ground pound or sending them straight up with a recovery. It's about sending them under the stage to where the last couple 2 or 3 jumps and maybe a dodge, a directional dodge, isn't enough to get them back. So you can kill someone in orange with a weapon like gun by hitting a Sayer and sending them under the stage.
Exactly. That whole repositioning from underneath the stage is gonna force a lot more movement as opposed to just straight up burning jumps to get all the way back up. And there you see that Hammer recovery we were just talking about a little while ago takes down part of the Creed. And we're seeing him switch back to the Koji. He did not like the guns on Diana and instead wants 8 dexterity. Oopsies. Oopsies. I have alerts on. But Radox, thank you for the follow. Just hearts.
We're seeing Loco stick with Scarlet, but exactly as you just said, part of the Creed's guns. That was definitely not a good choice on the Diana pick. I don't know if he just needs more time with guns, but his guns were very much lackluster.
I mean, in general, Sword in the NA meta has just been something that almost everyone has been able to pick up and play to some degree or another. And so I think that's just to the benefit of part of the Creed that he can play Sword over guns, just because it's just inherently a little bit easier to use, you know?
I'm sorry, I just completely blanked on everything that you just said. I just got a text message from my mother. I apologize for that.
Do you want to
do notes?
No. Go ahead. Yeah, if you want to give notes, go ahead.
Do you have notes?
I do have notes. Okay. So I think you guys are flowing a lot better. It's not as awkward as last time. So the flow is coming to a nice place. I think y'all can do a little bit better with connecting, you know, your thoughts together a little bit more seamlessly. But of course, that just takes time and practice. I also want to go back to the last game, the first game, where it was like Koji versus Cassidy. You guys were talking about how, you know, Creed likes his bows, you know, he usually chooses Amber, but he didn't. He's on Koji now. Go a little bit further into that. So, like, I can hear myself, so I don't know where that's coming from, but...
I'm hearing the echo, too.
I can hear the echo. But either way, moving forward, I think for this practice, you know, you guys are gonna have to do 2 things. You're gonna commentate and you're gonna have to, you know, analyze. I think you should explain, you know, what is Amber a better pick versus Koji, like, or is Koji a better pick against Cassidy? Like, you know, explain why Creed chose Koji instead of Amber going against this Cassidy. Y'all know your shit, like, straight up, y'all know your shit. So just go a little bit deeper into, like, why did Creed pick Koji instead of Amber? Yes, he likes Bo, but what else? You guys started talking about how Koji was popular and all this stuff. I liked how you guys went, you know, a little bit more in depth with that, about how, like, you know, NA right now is really into this and that. I think specifically, I think you guys were talking about why Koji's popular. I think you can go a little bit more into that. I think y'all were generally just talking about Bo. But, you know, there's more than one Bo character. Duke, you gotta watch out for your caster voice. It comes and goes, and you have a default where you start emphasizing on certain words, and as you know, if you emphasize everything, nothing's important. So just be careful with that. I know it's something you're still working on, so I'm not trying to be harsh, but just be aware of your caster voice. It does come and go. Like, it.
I mean, be harsh. If it's happening, I didn't notice it except for that one time. So
it is happening, but it literally comes and goes. There are times where you're talking normally and you're like having a conversation with Rami, and then there are other times where you were saying that Koji is this and he has, like, it really comes and goes. So you just be a little bit more aware of it. I liked how you guys were talking about the characters and, like, why the characters are great. I think. Remember, there's still a match going on in front of you. Yes, you're talking about the characters. Yes, you're talking about why these characters were great.
We need to bring it back to the game every now and then.
Yes, like, connect it to the game. So, okay, great. Koji's amazing, and Dex, and Bo, and Creed's great at it. But why? Let's go back to the players, and, you know, connect the dots between the two. You just talked about the characters, great. Now talk about why, how these players use these characters, and, you know, so on, so on. I think, Duke, I think you did a great job when you were, like, asking a question and Rami answered that question. That was great. That's very conversational. It was really nice to hear. So the next game, when, like, Creed, like, I don't know what he did, panic or whatever, explain I put my note was what happened to Creed, what should have he done instead of just panicking, because you guys were just saying like, oh, maybe he just doesn't know how to use guns, oh well. But instead of focusing on like, oopsie daisy, he doesn't know what he's doing, focus on what should he have done better, what could have he done better. So, yeah. What else? Sorry if you hear a dog crying. Another thing that I have here is, yeah, don't ignore the game completely. I love that you guys talked about the characters. That was great, but lead it back into the game and what's going on in the game. I mean, yes, we understand that these players are fighting, and yes, I can tell what a Sayer and a Nair is, but some plays are pretty legit, so don't feel afraid to just kind of jump back into it and connect why that character was able to do this string, yada 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 yada. So a huge overall summary of my notes is you guys are good and getting better at, you know, working together and flowing and commentating, but you guys need to be a little bit more specific on analyzing, right? So you guys are commentating, now you also need to analyze. And I didn't hear a lot of analysis, not to the point where it connects back to the players and why they chose and why they did this and yada yada yada. And you have time for that, especially obviously, you know, after a round or something. But those are my notes so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I think some of it is just an overcorrection that we're doing, which is good. Because I think we revert to play-by-play as sort of a crutch before.
Yeah.
And like that, I personally am sort of seeing the error of those ways.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, so this was just an overcorrection because we were just kind of generally having a conversation.
Yeah, and
we didn't do any play-by-play.
The gameplay as like a concept of topic, but not actually talking about the game itself.
I mean, that's fine. Like, that's fine that you guys are super hyper aware of what you guys do now. That's good. Now just tie everything together.
Alright, let's just let this match finish and then we'll go into the next one, like a fresh one. Do you want to lead it in or do you want me to do it still?
You can keep leading in, it's fine.
Okay. Also, chat, if y'all have any notes, I know someone was saying that we didn't talk very much about the game, which is a completely valid point. So if y'all have notes, things that stand out to you that like you're like, wow, why aren't they like, why are they sound like they're not having a conversation, or they sound like they don't know what they're talking about. Things like that, let us know, and we'll take note of it. Creed sucks.
Yeah, pretty much.
You
guys need to lead it back into the game, and also have fun because you guys are like, I can feel it.
It's just it's too casual.
It's not that it's too casual. It's just I know it's hard, but you guys are pretty much thinking on the spot. So you know, feel free to have fun. Like this is shit. I mean, Coco did some sweet cute ass shit.
All right, shh, we're gonna go in. All right, here we go. Here at this game 1 of this best of 3 set, part of the Creed is gonna be playing Azoth, and Loco Doco is gonna be playing Ember, the ultimate BM, playing your opponent's main against him.
But part of the Creed didn't really make the same choice there. He didn't pick. Well, I mean, Loco doesn't really have a main, so there really is no one he can pick. But part of the Creed chose Azoth, somebody who a lot of people don't play, so Loco might just not know how to play against him.
Yeah, this is an interesting pick. This Ember against Azoth. It's honestly, to me, it's a very difficult matchup for Ember. Azoth has that axe, which is very strong against Katars right now. And then aside from that, you've got bow versus bow, which it's gonna kind of neutral out to a degree, right?
A lot of Ember's SIGs, people tend to not like on bow, whereas Azoths are kind of in an interesting place right now. They have a lot of active frames on the bow, and people don't quite know how to use them yet.
I mean, the Azoth SIGs, they cover some good spots, right? Like the down SIG, when someone's approaching you, it's a great anti-approach option. The side SIG has so many active frames, and the neutral SIG will catch opponents off guard if they're not ready for the second shot. So it's definitely in a little bit of a funky spot, but I think that's more due to players not really playing Azoth than the fact that, you know, Azoth is just inherently bad. Loco Doco, though, gets the first kill in the shenanigans, not even using a bow, actually just gets an unarmed ground pound. One of his staples.
Bow offstage play is really, really strong right now, but Loco made it work without it. but part of the Creed is going to turn around and just hit him with a neutral sig, sending him to the other side of the map. That is that low defense on Ember, that 3 defense.
Yeah, that 3 defense showed its face at the very end, but Loco Doco, I'm hearing my caster voice right now. Loco Doco did a really good job of holding onto that stock and actually getting the early lead. It completely evened out, and now they're both back at it. But for a while there, Loco Doco was not struggling with that 3 defense, and once again, he has the lead despite that 3 defense.
Yeah, right now Creed's looking a little shaky with that bow, even though it's up against bow, and I don't think Loco plays bow very much.
Uh-oh, Loco just fell to his death. Part of the Creed now with the advantage has the weapon control, but Loco just comes back in, immediately picks up a bow, and we're going to see if he can finish off this stock with one of those awkward bow sigs that you were talking about.
And Creed is really just sticking to this bow right now. He's kind of just throwing out sigs left and right, going for some really, really hard reads.
I think that's more of a comfort thing, right? Creed plays Ember, he knows the bow, he doesn't play any sort of axe characters, so it just stands to reason that he would be more comfortable with that bow. And that was a really nice read from Loco. Goes high in the sky with a gravity cancel down sig on the Katars and immediately switches back to the bow.
One of the things about that down sig, especially in the air, you're really not going to expect it that far off the stage. But even if you did expect it, it's going to pop your hurt box back, let your opponent kind of throw out a hitbox that is going to miss you, and then you're going to come forward and throw out your hitbox and get the easy kill.
Hey, I have to be right back because this dog stole something. But just hold up. He stole something. Just hold on.
We'll just keep going, I think. Yo, Azoth X is so good, though.
It super is.
So good, though. All right, so from my notes for you, I hear... Does the girl give announcer lessons? She doesn't like do it as like a profession or anything, but she is very observant, and it always helps to have an outside party when you're doing something like this. Like if you're judging your own, you know, writing, then it helps to have someone else look over it, and because they can see the mistakes that you're not looking for. So that's essentially why we're having Sheepie here, is because she's just really observant, and she does stuff like this where she critiques people. She used to be a teacher and stuff like that, so that's more or less why it is. She's not like a professional caster, but she has a good awareness of these things. All right,
who said something about me?
True Round was asking if you do this, like if you just give announcer lessons or anything like that, and it's
no, I'm just very aware of these things.
All right, I think do you want to keep going?
I have notes, or do you want to keep going?
Let's finish this best of 3, quote unquote, and then we'll do notes. All right, so I think they're gonna start in a little bit, and once they actually look like they're playing, we can start casting. But right now they're deciding. All right, I think they've gotten the go-ahead. Here we go, game 2. Two-piece Loco Doco is now going full try-hard. He's got the holiday colors Orion, that mercenary for hire Orion. On the other side, part of the Creed is going with a very unorthodox pick, that Nash. Something that, I mean, he has no familiarity with as far as weapon sets go. It doesn't have his Ember bow. It doesn't have his Ember Katars. And more or less, Nash just isn't that popular of a pick unless you're Milo, and there you see that discomfort in part of the Creed. Loco able to get a complete 100-0, next to no damage on top of him.
Yeah, one of Nash's strong points is that he has a whole buttload of force. But when you have a weapon like Hammer, you don't necessarily need all of that. I think it's 8 force that he has.
No, he's got 7.
He has 7 force. Okay, you don't really need all of that with Hammer. Like Bodvar has 5 force, and he can pretty much kill about as quickly as Nash can.
Yeah, I agree. I think what's more important in the Hammer game is dexterity. If he was looking for a strong Hammer, then the dexterity would have been the big thing. I think almost everyone universally agrees that Cassidy's Hammer is in a tier of its own of the Hammers. But there's got to be something more to this Nash pick than just the Hammer. What do you think? Is it the Spear?
It might be the Spear. Spear is an incredible weapon right now. I would say, by and large, probably the best weapon in the game. A lot of people say bow. That's highly contentious right now between NA and EU about bow's strength. But I think Spear is one of the best weapons in the game, probably the best. It has an incredible kit.
All right, so can you elaborate? What is so great about the Spear kit?
Every single move that it has utility. The dare, it has spike potential. If it hits, it sends your opponent down, it sends you up, but Loco is going to use that neutral sig from Orion to just completely halt Creed's onslaught and send him down below.
I mean, I know Creed wanted that spear play, but that neutral sig from Orion, Loco Doco saying, hey, I got a spear too, man. Like, why aren't y'all talking about my spear?
He's playing Orion. Every single Orion player does that always.
I mean,
you have to expect it.
That's the Orion bread and butter. Sword players love those downlight whatevers. Orion's just, they love that neutral sig on the edge. Part of the Creed, though, is gonna be taunting. A little bit early for that, my friend.
Maybe he's just gonna really rely on this Nash defense because he isn't orange right now. Loco's barely been touched. Oh, a nice double downlight into a Sair from part of the Creed right there, using that gravity cancel to its full potential. Spot dodging that weapon throw.
Yeah, really good technical skills from part of the Creed there. We talked about how he might be a little bit uncomfortable on this Nash pick, but he's been able to climb back from a full stock disadvantage, and he has yet to drop one of those double downlights, and he has gone for that multiple times and been able to pick those up. So a lot of technical skill on the part of Creed.
And I don't think he usually plays a lot of weapons that have like downlight ladders like that. Like, he doesn't really play sword as much. You don't do that in Katars, but Loco is going to have him on the edge here with this spear. We might see the kill coming in.
Neutral sig, there it is, but Creed was ready for it. Able to punish.
Oh, and Creed was looking for that neutral sig. Loco spaced it out, cranked up that side sig, and sent part of the Creed to his death.
Yeah, he went for the read there, thought Loco was going to be coming in, but Loco just catches him off with that side sig. I think that was the best of three. Did Loco just win?
Are we good for notes? Or you want... I got notes.
Are we good? Let's go to notes.
Yeah, just do it, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the first game. So Rami, you gotta think faster. You still have a slow start, and then you like to pick it up like this, and then you just gotta be a little bit more on your toes, just because yes, you talk a little bit more slowly when you start up a thought, and also sometimes the pause between Duke stopping and you starting is, to me at least, maybe not for everyone else, but to me at least, is a little bit noticeable. Because I know you're thinking. So just think a little bit faster, a little bit better on the lead-ins. My second note is why people don't play Azov. Duke could have talked about it. I think, Rami, you were talking about how most people don't really play Azov for whatever reason, but no one explains why. Why is Azov not really picked? You know, so I think what happened there was you were talking about no one playing Azov. I think Duke could have led into like why people don't play it, but instead y'all like went in a totally different direction. So that kind of goes to another note that I have, is that you guys need to connect what you're saying a little bit more. There are times where you guys don't sound like friends. You guys are still negating certain things that you're saying, but I'll get to that a little bit. Okay, I have my another note is, Duke, you should talk further about the Ember active frames, because so that's my note. So yeah, what happened was Rami was just talking about Amber and like active frames and shit like that. You could have talked further about that, but instead you negated it. You instead talked about Azov instead. So once again,
I don't remember talking about active frames at all.
Yeah, we mentioned Azov active frames.
I said Azov side sig active frames are long.
My point being is that one person was talking about Amber, and then you switched it. I think would have been a better choice was to continue talking about Ember, and then like connect that to like, okay, well, if we're talking about Ember and like this and this and this, okay, well, Azov compared to her is this and this and this, because I know you guys were talking about Creed. Okay, so connect the dots a little bit better is what I'm trying to say. At least I like that you guys were leading it back to the player, like, oh yeah, Creed usually plays Amber, but he's playing Azov right now. But the way you guys connected those characters, it was a little off. You guys pretty much negated each other. It's DM's note. You guys weren't friends. You guys need to talk about the game of like the match. You guys need to do a better job at leading in. Like, okay, if you're gonna talk about a specific kit, and it happens, like great. Talk about that. Like, lead what you just analyzed and talked about, and lead that into the game. I'll get further into that because that's at the bottom in the second match. I said, Rami, you talked about Coco's ground pound instead of talking about bow, because I think what happened was, I think Duke was talking about bow play and you know, he didn't need it at all.
I think that was me.
Like that.
Is we were talking about bow plays, then Coco got a ground pound. He got a rest on Creed, so I was like, oh, and then a big rest, you know, like kind of transition to that.
Okay. Duke, there was one point in time where you were struggling with your words because you were trying to, I believe, describe a play-by-play, which is your comfort zone, but for some reason you were struggling, and it was really obvious. When we got into the second match, y'all just sounded like you guys were running out of things to say. It sounded like you were confused, or you guys weren't having fun, is my note with that. It just seems like you guys were running out of things to say. You're just pulling shit from the air.
Okay.
At one point. Probably because you guys were trying to think of what to say next. Duke, a very specific caster voice came back on the words Holiday Orion.
Okay.
Holiday Orion is not important at all to say unless you're going to make a joke out of it, but you had a caster voice when you said, and whoever Coco on the Holiday Orion, it's like that caster voice.
Well, because what happened was I was going to say Christmas, and then I was like, well, that's not, we got to say holiday or whatever.
Just let your jokes happen. You make jokes all the time. Don't force your jokes.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be about the costume.
It wasn't, no, I was just commenting on it, and then I was gonna say Christmas, and then I was like, oh shit, I can't say Christmas. I have to say holiday, and that's why I, like, mental farted and, like, slowed down for it.
Either way, caster voice, I know you're more aware of it now, because you did better this time around, but emphasize the things that actually matter. When Creed played Nash, in my opinion, I like it when we focus on positive. So you guys are saying Creed never usually picks a Nash, so he kind of sucks at it. So instead of saying he sucks at it, just explain why maybe he chose Nash. And you guys did this a little bit further on, but at that moment, when y'all saw Creed pick Nash, y'all pretty much said he doesn't really play Nash, and you were insinuating that he will suck at playing Nash. I don't agree with that. Don't make the players feel / look like shit or something. I just find that kind of BME. Instead, I think a better choice is to explain maybe why did he choose Nash against an Orion, or maybe why Nash isn't popular, but Creed for some reason decided to pick him. Like, focus on more positive things or more analytical things instead of, yeah, Creed doesn't really play this guy, so he's probably gonna suck. I still had another note about going back into gameplay, because you guys are really focused on all the other stuff, but you guys need to lead it back into gameplay. A good example, I mean, if you watch Smite, I know Smite, there's a lot more time to talk about things because everything is, you know, fucking like 30 minutes long, but you know, they'll talk about a character, they'll talk about a player and why that player picked, you know, fucking Aphrodites for whatever reason. And then when shit is really exploding, they go back right into the gameplay. Like, oh shit, Aphrodite is going into mid lane and blah, 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 blah. Y'all still haven't led back into the game. Y'all keep talking about everything else. My note here says, why Spear is best in the game, then lead back into Creed using it on Coco. Okay. Okay. So I'm trying to read my notes and remember why I wrote them. So you guys were, around this time, you guys were talking about the Spear kit and how it's the best, at least in Rami's opinion, it's the best in the game right now. I think at that moment, when y'all were talking about Spear kit being amazing, Creed did a really good, you know, spear string, and y'all didn't talk about that at all. So
actually, what happened was a kill happened, and so then we tried to bring it back to the game and talk about what happened in the game, which is why the whole talk about spear got interrupted.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, from what I saw, that's one way you could have, like, go back into the game. You guys were talking about spear kit. Creed was doing a really nice spear string. That could have been easily led back into. This is why spear is the best in the game. Yada 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 blah blah blah. You could have talked about it. You could literally been like, look at what Creed doing. That's why spear is great. And then let's talk more about spear. Like, yeah, there are ways to, like, connect the dots for you guys. I put Duke. You did a good job leading in on technical skills for Creed. Cause yeah, you're right, Rami. Later on, y'all realize you guys are talking about spear, and then Creed did it again. He did that same string, and then you finally, like, let it back in. So that was good. So it's getting there, but yeah, focus. You guys, you have to, like, connect each other's thoughts a little bit better. I kept noticing some pauses, like longer pauses than usual between y'all, and I think you guys are just running out of things to say, or you guys couldn't think fast enough on your feet. If you feel like someone is struggling to figure out what to say, just pick it up. Just pick it up, because yeah, I think near the end, Duke said something. He paused, and it was a little bit longer before you, Rami, you picked it up. So when you feel that inkling of, oh shit, like this is too long of a pause, just whoever can keep going, just keep going. Like it is okay if you talk a little bit longer than the 7-second rule, only because the other person doesn't know what to say. Like, I think one person talking a little bit longer is a lot better than having that pause there. So those are my notes for those couple matches. I think the overall summary is that you guys can do a better job at, like, connecting y'all's thoughts together, because I'm still hearing negation. I'm still hearing that you guys aren't friends. You guys are not saying yes and I think you guys need to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, analyze that, great. And if you see it happen in the game, mention it, because these two players are playing well. Mention it, connect it to them. I don't want you guys to completely just ignore the players. And that's what it sounds like right now. It sounds like y'all are just ignoring them. Okay, those are my notes.
Okay. Okay, you ready for this? Oh, dude, they're actually doing... Okay, cool. We're going to be seeing Sentinel versus Sentinel, part of the Creed versus two-piece Chicken Loco Doko, and honestly, part of the Creed is in the slight advantage in the sense that he plays Ember. He knows Katars. Katars are his mainstay, not to mention the fact that he played Sentinel before Ember even existed. Loco is at a distinct disadvantage now, and it's going to come down to pure general skill. Or they.
Yeah, but see, Loco is a dirty Sig spammer, and one of Sentinel's strengths is his incredible signature kit. They do a lot of damage, they have a lot of force, and they cover so much area.
Yeah, they can definitely catch your opponent off guard if you're not ready for it, but part of the Creed has... I'm fairly certain he's ready for all of the signatures spam, seeing that he's already throwing out quite a few neutral sigs himself. There's another one.
This is just a very even game right now. It's just signature after signature after signature. Part of the Creed with a side signature. Loco is going to be the first one to throw out a non-signature attack. It was still on the heavy attack button, but it wasn't a signature.
Yeah, it was in the air, so unfortunately it did not come out like a signature. Instead, it was just the normal hammer ground pound. Part of the Creed doesn't need the signatures. Instead, just the ground pounds, catching Loco Doko every single time he comes to the wall. Those Qatar ground pounds have a lot of force. Not as much force as the hammers, but still very strong weapon in that edge guard.
That's one of the things that Qatar's really does have on its side in terms of the edgeguard situation. It has Dare, which has a ton of force, and it has the ground pound. A lot of Qatar players don't utilize that ground pound. It's very, very quick, and the hitbox, honestly, isn't that terrible.
Yeah, they normally look for the side airs. You know, they try to get that angle, maybe try to fish for a Dare on the wall, but they just, a lot of times, they forget that the ground pound matters, and looks like part of the Creed just forgot where his buttons were. I'm not sure what happened there, but he just fell to his death and is now basically a full stock behind Loco.
I'm glad you were the one talking there, because I think I might have been more confused than you were about what was just happening. And part of the Creed with the triple Sayers here.
Oh, he is not going to be deterred. That mental fortitude, getting those neutral sigs, those big Sentinel sigs up. Another one is going to do it. Part of the Creed shakes off that fall on the right side and comes back and sends out the Sentinel sigs to finish off Loco Doco's stock and even this game back up.
And I don't know if those of you at home noticed what happened just now. Is Loco was behind part of the Creed when he did that neutral signature. That hitbox still extended behind Sentinel and still hit for the kill.
Part of the Creed has to know those signatures. Looks like a clash just happened. Is training mode or test features on?
Test features on? I mean, no, but clashes are gonna happen more in general just because of because it's a mirror match.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're completely even in everything except for player skill, and it looks like Loco Doco is the one with the higher player skill, despite part of the Creed's familiarity with those Qatars.
But they're just gonna roll it right back in there. Never mind, Loco might be changing characters, even though he just won. Creed is gonna hope to get some earlier edge guards. Loco was just switching his costume, the most important choice that you can make.
I mean, if you win with one skin, you might as well upgrade to the better skin, right? And that's essentially what Loco Doco decided to do. He dons the hood, takes off the sunglasses, and test features are most definitely on, because we are on a test map, and it looks like we're going to be SDing. We're going to be restarting this match, and this is definitely an interesting match. Part of the Creed I expected to have won game one, especially because of that Qatar pick. I mean, what happened? What went wrong for Loco to have taken that out, aside from that minor SD midway through the game?
I think actually that's going to be more than a minor issue here. Creed did get that early edge guard, got the Gimp, and he got the kill, but then that SD kind of just negated every bit of lead that he had. And Loco's Qatars are nothing to feel safe around. Loco kind of plays a whole bunch of characters. He has a lot of tools in his toolkit. We know he plays Scarlet a lot, or he used to play Scarlet a lot. So he's familiar with Hammer. He's played more than a handful of Qatar characters.
Okay. So it's not that Loco needs to pray for the miracle part of the Creed falling to his death, because Loco's still got some skill in his toolkit. I mean, we saw it, obviously, that one SD was not enough for part of the Creed to have won it out over Loco Doco, and it looks like they're still fairly even, but part of the Creed, you saw him throw away the hammer really early on, but now he picks up the hammer for the ground pound and is going to be switching back to the Qatars, his comfort weapon.
And now if we don't see a repeat of what we saw first game, I think part of the Creed more or less has this in the bag. Look at that huge lead in the top right of the corner of your screen. Part of the Creed is just now getting into orange. Loco is in the yellow. He will be orange soon, especially if Creed keeps punishing him.
Yeah, like you were saying, top right corner, full stock advantage for part of the Creed. Loco looking to take it off using those side airs we were talking about just a little while ago. Ground pound just to confirm, just in case. But he's going to even up the stocks, but he's still quite a fair bit behind. Needs to keep part of the Creed off that weapon, but was not able to do so.
Yep, Creed's coming back with that hammer. There's still a weapon on the field. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Creed starting to throw that hammer, making use of that gigantic hitbox.
I wasn't listening, and I was also curious if you were going to pick it back up.
God damn it!
It's okay, I said yep.
Yeah, we've been saying quite a fair bit.
You guys keep saying yeah and yep, and I made notes of that, so...
No, but it's okay, because Duke, you're saying exactly, which
yeah.
isn't yep. And Brandon,
it's
Brandon
slightly different.
Exactly.
It's slightly different, you know?
No.
Affirmative, Captain.
Roger that. They're coming back in.
That's a 10-4, good buddy.
All right, here we go again. Full stock disadvantage again for part of the Creed. Loco Doco was able to even it up with those side airs on the edge, but part of the Creed has the guitars. He gets the big dare, and that might be enough. No, Loco gets back to the wall.
Part of the Creed was waiting for that dare, but he missed the second one. Loco knows about gimps, but it's not going to be enough. Creed is going to take that. Did you see the top right? That was 2 stocks up. Look at the damage numbers right here. Creed did more than double. He basically did 2.5 times the damage that Loco was able to put out.
And like you were saying at the beginning of this, part of the Creed, as long as he keeps track of his jumps, was able to completely control the game and win it out. From this point, Loco, he's got to pray for that miracle, but he's also got to keep Creed off of that comfort weapon of those guitars. If Creed gets stuck on that hammer, I think Loco's going to have a solid chance. And here's his opportunity. Creed, no weapon, picks up guitars, and I don't know how this is going to end.
We are going to see test features changing things around soon. Every single weapon you pick up is going to be different from the previous one. They are going to alternate now. So I wonder if part of the Creed is going to be thinking about not playing Sentinel anymore.
I mean, that'll definitely be a strong advantage for him. Every time he's stuck with hammer, he knows the next weapon he picks up is going to be 100% guaranteed guitars. You know, unless it's a gadget, and that, I mean, that's just a huge advantage for players who want to stick with that one weapon, not just Creed on those guitars, but any player who wants to, you know, go sword only on Bodvar or whatever it may be. But part of the Creed with those guitars, able to take out the first stock and is once again a full stock ahead of Loco Doco.
In that wall engagement there, Creed did exactly what you need to do. If both players have hammers and both players are in kill percent and both players are on that side of the wall, if you're going to hammer recovery, you can't be the first person to hammer recovery. The winner of that fight is going to be who gets around the other one and hammer recovery second.
It's all positioning, like you were saying. That hammer recovery it's whoever does it at the right time and is in position for it. If you go too early, or if you just charge up and then get stuck inside of that charge animation, Loco Doco was able to finish that off with that side sig as Creed was stuck inside of that down sig animation.
Creed's still looking to come back. He is stuck on that hammer, though. We have a weapon on the field. Is he going to throw that hammer? No, he's just going to stick with the hammer, looking for another recovery kill here. But it's going to be enough with the ground pound, throwing it away. He just disarmed himself and then didn't even leave the mine in play.
I mean, there's times like that where you have plenty of time for another weapon to spawn. They spawn pretty frequently, and I think Creed just had that confidence inside of himself to say, I know the next weapon's gonna spawn in just a little bit. I can completely wipe the board and just wait for the spawn, and I'm confident that I can pick it up. Or worst case scenario, I'm a full stock ahead, so even if I take a little bit of damage, it's gonna be nothing.
Yeah, we're seeing Creed coming in with that lead right now. This is about where he was at the end of the last game, and we're seeing again he's bringing Loco into the red, getting very, very close to kill percent right now while he's in orange, and we're seeing an exact mirror of last game.
Okay, so it looks like Creed won that out 2-1 in that best of 3. I'm gonna go to notes now. Egg Soup says, as a new viewer, I'm confused about what hammer recovery is. Did we not sound conversational?
I'm gonna disagree with Egg Soup's opinion there, because if you look at any other esport, there is a level of like explaining actually what the thing is that they're talking about, but nobody really goes that in depth about, oh, what is a hammer recovery? Oh, that's when you're in the air and you press the heavy attack and it picks them up and it scoops them down. Smash doesn't go that in depth on what every single move is. Any MOBAs don't go that in depth. In my opinion, there needs to be a level of competency for understanding esports. Like, you don't have to know everything. Absolutely not. But there is a certain level, because you can't explain everything. There's not enough time.
I mean, yeah, I agree that there's not enough time to explain everything, but I think what Egg Soup meant is that if hammer recovery happened in the game and it for some reason secured a kill or did something amazing, explain what it is and why it worked. As in, okay, hammer recovery has a lot of distance or whatever you want to say, but if a kill was confirmed or something amazing happened that involved a hammer recovery, you can explain it real fast what it is and why that thing worked. Why did it confirm a kill? I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
So we don't need to explain hammer recovery. We just need to explain why it's important.
Okay.
To change that.
My notes are not as long because the dog I'm caring for is driving me nuts right now. But Duke and Rami, y'all kept saying yep and yeah, and then proceeded to negate each other. Like, you guys really don't sound like friends. I'm just gonna say what DM said.
It's weird because I don't hear it, because he'll say like hammer recovery is really strong, and I go exactly what you said. Hammer recovery, that positioning is important.
Okay, well, don't repeat.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I don't understand how it sounds like I'm negating a statement when I'm literally saying, like, quote, you hit the nail on the head, hammer recovery, blah blah blah. I don't understand how that's
agree.
negating.
I think each of us is doing a much better job than we did before of picking up where the other one left off.
Yeah, you guys were. You guys are definitely flowing a bit better. Hold on, let me look at my notes.
Like, I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm just trying to say, like, from my perspective, when I'm doing it, I'll do something like literally say you were right with your statement or whatever, and I don't understand how I'm negating it when I'm more or less reiterating what he says and then adding on, where I'll be like, yeah, hammer recovery is really strong. It's the advantage that he needs. Not to mention, there's also hammer side air, blah blah blah, and then we talk about hammer side. Like, hold
on, let me go through my notes, and then I wanna. If you guys say that you guys aren't negating each other, I'm gonna just test you real quick. But yeah, let me just go through my notes real quick. You guys said yeah and yep. Just be aware of that. Something about Creed doing a whole bunch of SIGs, and I know that might be like cheesy, but like you could easily connect that, lead that back into some sort of analysis. So great that you guys were focusing on the gameplay. Like, you guys did a good job at focusing more on the gameplay now, which is awesome. Now you can still further connect that back to analyzing why maybe Sentinels like SIGs are really good in this instance. There was one part where, you know what, I'm not even gonna say that one, because Duke, you actually did a good job. So you did a good job at leading. You said something, like, I think Rami said something, and then you know, answered it, and then led right into the gameplay. So that was actually pretty good. Somebody said with those guitars, and it was their caster voice. I can't remember who.
It's probably me. I think I have a really bad habit of caster voice.
Rami also had a little bit of caster voice, but I don't think he means it. It's also him just thinking, just like you are. You're just trying to think of what to say, and so you slow down, and then you start making everything really dramatic. But someone said with those guitars in a very dramatic form, and I was like, that's caster voice. When they were suiciding, because test features was on, I think you guys did a good job at connecting, you know, the players to their past gameplays, to the characters that they chose. And I think a really good way of making it a little bit more conversational, like, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to, like, help your partner by leading them into something, right? Duke asked a question and Rami was able to answer it. Like, that is a really clear example of how to say yes and not really negate each other. Am I saying you got to? Am I saying you have to ask questions all the time? No, but I think questions, the way y'all just did them in this like last few rounds, I think it made it really conversational. I think it made it very clear that you guys were on the same page and on the same team. I just have a lot of notes about you guys negating each other, so we're gonna just tell me a little bit about talk to me about Queen Eye. Just talk about whatever you want, and I just want to see if you guys can connect each other's dots. Just talk anything about Queen Eye. Talk about her kit, her weapons, her stats. I don't care, but just talk a little bit right now.
Queen Knight is definitely really strong. Side note, Sparky, you're echoing Winan. So anyways, Queen Nai definitely really strong. She kind of fell out of favor as of late, but a lot of big names have picked her up along the way, most notably Foda and LDZ, two players who have at one point or another been at the top of leaderboards, have picked up Queen Nai.
We actually saw Wilson also used to be a huge Queen Nai player back when he really played in tournaments, even so much as he was one of the few people who just kind of would throw side signatures just kind of off the edge randomly as his edge guard, and they would hit.
Oh, and those side signatures could be absolutely brutal if they hit off of the map. If you were like on the right side and they hit, you were almost guaranteed dead from orange on. They're so fierce. That 6 force seems like a lot more than 6.
I'm pretty sure the stats are a lie and that she actually probably has 10 billion force. Katars are not supposed to have a lot of force on their moves, but honestly, I just don't believe it.
Alongside that 10 billion force is the 10 billion defense, though. Am I right? Those Queen Nais don't die. Like they don't.
Yeah, every single Queen Nai, I think, there's somebody playing right now who is still on their first stock in their game since I'd probably closed alpha.
I mean, we saw it in the 2v1s, right? Like Foda would be in those 2v1 situations as Queen Nai, and just that sheer tankiness, that inability to be shut down, gave him the edge that he needed to win out in a freaking 2v1. It's 7 force. I'm wrong.
Okay, so I'm just gonna stop you guys. So yeah, that was much better. I see you struggling a little bit, Duke. I don't know if it's because you can't see anything and you have to make it up on the spot, but that was better. And I think my only note about that was that use what y'all just talked about. And this, I know this is a lot of shit that I'm giving to y'all, but on top of that, so that was really good at connecting the dots. On top of that, now build some sort of storyline. Y'all just talked about a few, famous players who play Queen Nai. You can, if we were watching a match where LDZ was playing Queen Nai versus whomever, if that ever came to be, you guys were talking about the SIGs and how they were really strong, force, all that stuff. Weave some sort of storyline. Remember that we're also trying to make our players be the stars. So,
hold on.
I know there wasn't any gameplay, but I'm just going to put that in your mind so that when we continue, you can do that. Okay? That I get it. I get there was no gameplay. I'm just gonna inception you. Just remember that. Okay. It's been an hour, I think. Do you guys want to keep going or do you want to stop?
I'm not even close to ready to stop, personally.
Yeah, I'm fine to keep going.
Okay, I can do this for a little bit more and then I kind of have to work.
Okay. Here we go. We're going to be seeing part of the Creed on Sir Roland versus Loco Doco on his Scarlet. Loco Doco has been a huge fan of that Scarlet. On the other side, I don't think I've ever seen part of the Creed touch Sir Roland, but maybe he's taking a page out of the Zaloxery book, an Ember Roland combination type player.
He might be. These are very strange weapons for Creed, though. We haven't really seen him play Lance, and we haven't really seen him play Sword, but he might have a couple tricks up his sleeve. I love Roland's Sword, and Roland's Lance is actually one of my favorite Lances in the game.
Yeah, he's got a really strong Lance, but I honestly, I think he's going to be switching it up and be I'm negating your statement, and that's why I'm going to stop talking right now.
Yes, you are. Okay, great. I'm not going to make that note.
Here we go. Part of the Creed picks up a sword, threw away that lance. Loco Doco has a lance of his own. He's going to be looking for those weapon setups, those throw setups in particular, waiting for the opportunity to do it.
That's one of the biggest strengths of Lance right now, and if you negate the throw game, you are just kind of taking a huge chunk out of the potential that Lance has.
It's that gigantic throw hitbox that gives it that advantage. Like you were saying, it's such a strong weapon, but Loco Doco threw away the lance, is going to be switching it up to the hammer, and then throws the hammer away, trying to get the edge guard, switches it back up to the lance.
And Creed is going to start throwing out those signatures, trying to outspace that major long-distance lance from Loco.
Creed is going to wait for the opportunity, but Loco's not going to give it to him. Instead, he's going to be using those throws to help close that gap. And once again, that's the advantage. He goes for the double throw into a pickup ground pound. Those throw setups into a mix-up. Loco Doco is definitely comfortable with this Scarlet.
Now, normally you don't think of Creed as a big yeller or a loud person, but if you've ever played Rainbow Six with him, you know that he can scream. And in that moment, when there were those 2 throws into the ground pound, I'm sure he was screaming his head off. He probably set off a couple car alarms, and there's probably dogs barking right now.
I'm sure that kind of play would definitely tilt me a little bit, but part of the Creed is very cerebral in his play style. He knows how to think. He can recompose himself. We saw him earlier on in our pseudo fake tournament SD a stock and try to make the comeback and almost make it. So I'm confident in Creed's ability to completely shake it off, and you can see it right now. He is just completely undeterred, picks it back up and goes straight into the Nair juggle onto Loco Doco. What?
The less you wear, the more you need Nair. And Creed, I don't know what Loco was thinking.
Wait. What?
You know, Nair, when you, put the cream on your legs. And
yeah.
Is that like a commercial phrase?
It's chemical hair removal.
It's chemical hair removal. Yeah. It's an alternative to like shaving or waxing. Damn, dude, that was a good joke. Good job.
The tagline is the less you wear, the more you need Nair.
That's good job, Rami. Duke, that went way over your head, so I'm pretty sure that's why you probably couldn't follow.
I'm sorry, I don't watch Nair commercials, alright?
That was a really good joke and a really good lead-in, so it's okay.
You're not casting right now.
It's fine. Duke, I want you to also take a deep breath and just talk like normally, because when you are stumbling and you don't know what to say, you go back into your bad habits. You start negating Rami, and you also start having caster voice. So take a deep breath and just fucking have fun.
Okay, here we go. Game 2, part of the Creed sticking with that Sir Roland. We saw it be very effective with that sword. Are they looking for the go ahead? I don't know,
but both my characters are gone right now.
Yeah, I just see Creed. He bans out a couple maps. Loco Doco comes back, picks up the rest of the maps, and it looks like they're gonna go into Shipwreck. They're sticking with these characters, and for Loco Doco to say, "Hey, I'm gonna just go for the straight run back with this Scarlet," it's not only saying he's confident in his Scarlet play, but it's saying he knows the mistakes that he made against Creed's Roland, and he knows exactly what he needs to adjust, and whether or not that adjust is throwing more. We're gonna find out in just a little bit. He's got the hammer, and part of the Creed has the lance.
I'm really hoping that one of the adjustments that he does make is not unarmed ground pounding onto part of the Creed's sword like 6 times in a row.
No, that worked, right? He just got the timings wrong. It's all about delaying it.
That is something that Egg Soup always preaches. You don't delay it by a lot, but just a frog's hair of a second is enough delay to bait out the dodge, and they won't have enough invulnerability frames.
Oof, Loco Doco delayed a little bit too much there. He went for a stomp into his side air, but it was unable to pick it up, and part of the Creed turns it around and gets a big sword string to finish him off.
He got that huge downlight ladder and then followed it down to hit the Sair really deep low, sending Loco to his death. And that, I just quoted Egg Soup, I'm going to quote him again. Those are those edge guards from part of the Creed that Egg Soup speaks very highly of.
Part of the Creed, top 99% diamond edge guards. What a god! He has a full stock advantage over Loco Doco thanks to those edge guards, but Loco Doco looking to answer back. He's got the hammer, can't quite get the ground pound onto that sword recovery, and that is going to be brutal.
Part of the Creed just went straight into that hammer ground pound from Loco. He wasn't even a little bit afraid, and it would have probably meant certain death.
If someone like Egg Soup is complimenting your edge guards, that's got to be a little bit of a confidence booster on your edge guards, you know?
And even when he's the one getting edge guarded, Creed, he just looks at home on the edge, and Loco, I played a lot of games against Loco, and Loco edge guards the stuffing out of me, but he's just kind of looking a little bit trepidatious around the edge.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Loco Doco just struggling a little bit on these edge guards, and to a degree, I'm sure it's part of the Creed's just general being better on the edge guard kind of situation, not to mention the fact that Loco Doco just hasn't been able to get the setups that he's looking for. Normally he likes to go for those rests, he likes to go for those weapon toss setups, and he just hasn't been able to get those situations. Part of the Creed has just been controlling those edge guards with the use of that sword, that just high attack rate.
And the sword into the Lance edge guarding, you'd think Loco would be throwing more. He finally hits that neutral sig, finally taking off the first stock from Creed, but the edge guards with Lance specifically have been looking kind of lackluster from Loco so far.
I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. You said he finally took off the first stock of Part of the Creed. We are almost 3 minutes into the game, and Part of the Creed, an 8 defense character, the tankiest character in the game, has only lost its first stock. Loco Doco has a huge mountain to climb to make back up this huge stock deficit he's got.
Right? Creed's rolling right now as an unkillable beef castle. It's everything Loco has thrown at it. Creed has weathered the storm, and he almost makes it back. Loco might have some reverse 3-stock dreams coming his way.
The dream is, it's manifesting for sure, but once again, 8 defense. I'm just gonna keep pointing that out, but that side sig drop is gonna be helping Loco. Any more drops like that, every single time that happens, Loco's gonna be thanking his lucky stars that the dream is still going.
I'm hoping that's the shot of adrenaline that Loco needs to kind of get his act together on the edge, maybe play a little bit safer, and maybe even edge guard a little bit. He's starting to put a little bit of damage out on Creed right now.
You think Loco should be fighting that edge guard? Over maybe, say, the neutral?
I think a little bit, yes.
Ooh.
Before he was showing hesitation, but the wild stallion from Part of the Creed is going to seal Loco's fate.
Loco Doco, he went for the side sig, and it just, you know, that hitbox goes a little bit up because she hops on her lance as it floats there, and Part of the Creed with that horse knocks her off of her lance and sends her into the sky. Was that game 1?
No, that was 2.
That was game 2. Are we going to notes?
Hold on. I mean, we can. Sorry, I was typing a note, but we can, or you can keep going one more.
Well, I mean, do you have a lot of notes that you want to throw?
I mean, I have some notes. I can just throw them at you.
Okay.
I think overall y'all did better at connecting the dots and stuff. As far as you two connecting what you guys are saying and also trying to lead back into gameplay. My first note is, Duke, you stumbled / didn't know what to say, and you led into a new topic. And I think you were aware of that. It was like when you were like, I'm negating you, never mind. So, yeah. Obviously, when you struggle to find what to say or how to follow up, Duke, you tend to go back to bad habits. I already gave you the note about just talk like you're just having a conversation, because you were, I think it was when you were joking about, it was when Rami was joking about Creed and how he screams and like sets off car alarms and stuff. You tried to follow up on that joke, and I appreciate the effort, but Cast a Voice came out because you probably were a little bit unsure of how to follow up. But I think if you were just talking normally and just taking a deep breath and like, this is us trying to hang out and just talk a little bit more in depth about the game, you probably could have followed up with something and it would have been great. So just literally like breathe, breathe, and just have a conversation with Rami about the game. When we went into that second match, this one that we just watched, at the very beginning, I liked what you were saying, Duke, because you were talking about a lot of different things about the characters and whatnot, but you just kind of kept on going and going, and then you almost sounded like you're running out of breath. So this is why you guys need to somehow in sync with each other, or just practice a bit more. But all the things you were saying at the beginning of this round, where you were just talking, and you were running out of breath, Rami could have easily picked that up somewhere. Like half of the things you said, Rami could have picked up, or picked it up and led into something else or whatever. Like, you don't have to talk for that long and talk about something this really fast. Like, you were talking really fast and you really did sound like you're running out of breath. So just be aware of that, and Rami, be aware if you need to pick up right after he says something. Mm-hmm. I put good job leading and delay. What? Y'all did a good job.
Great notes.
They're your
Thanks.
notes.
You're the one taking them.
I know, I'm taking notes. Literally, my note is good job leading and delay talk into gameplay, Duke. So, Duke, you did a good job leading into something. Into
Thanks.
you
Great job for not doing something.
Yeah, you
What?
remember in that last 15 minutes, you did a good thing once?
Yep.
Keep it up.
You did a good job. Well, because you're getting. My point is that you guys are getting better and you guys are taking notes quite well. So I think what I'm trying to say in this note is that, Duke, you did a good job leading into. You were talking about like delays. Like if you hold your delays for like SIGs a little bit longer, just a little bit, then you can, hit it or whatever. Because Rammer was talking about it, and then you started talking about it, and then you did a really good job at leading that talk about delays into the gameplay, because I think Coco tried it out, but he held it for too long or something like that. That's what I was trying to compliment. So keep that up. You guys are talking about how Creed is just better at edge guarding and Coco is kind of good, but not as good as Creed. Instead of focusing on that little bit of negativity, talk about maybe the reason why Creed is better at edge guard. Maybe it has to do something with his character choice or the weapon he has currently in hand. Just try your best to erase any little tidbits of negativity that, Coco is not as good as Creed or whatever it is. Just, you could have easily talked about maybe the character choice helped with the edge guarding, or the weapon that he had at the time, or maybe Coco, didn't hit the dodge correctly, or something like that. You could have said or chosen a better choice of words than just saying, yeah, Creed is just better at edge guarding compared to Coco. You guys are doing a really good job at leading into gameplay now. So I'm hearing a lot of, after I gave the note about just breathe and just talk normally, I think things started flowing a little bit better and it sounded better. You guys were connecting the dots. You guys were leading into gameplay and talking about analysis stuff. But you guys are missing details on analysis now. So now you guys are focusing a lot on like gameplay stuff, which is great, but now you're missing the other half of that. You're missing that little tidbits of details on character analysis. Roland has this stat, which is probably going to help him against Scarlet for this reason, and when he picks up his lance against, Scarlet's like hammer, blah blah blah, like shit like that. You guys are missing those little tidbits that you guys had when we started doing this an hour ago. So it's like you guys are doing too much gameplay now. You're not really talking about in-depth character analysis or player analysis. So there needs to be an even balance of both. And I know that's hard because you only have about 5 minutes to talk about something. So I'm sure you guys are aware of this, but obviously when the players are picking characters or map banning or whatever, that's your time to shine to talk about more in-depth analysis stuff, which I'm sure you guys are aware. I'm just saying, like, that is a suggestion. That's all my notes so far.
Okay. Ram, you ready to go again?
Mm-hmm.
Saw your chat.
Is chat saying something?
They're just asking who you are.
I am a Whitesheepie.
Oh my god, look. Okay. Here we go. Game 1. Okay. New best of 3 set. Part of the Creed versus Loco Dogo. Part of the Creed is going to be mixing it up. He's going to be playing Queen Nai. A very, very interesting pick in the sense that it's Queen Nai. It's almost the complete antithesis of stat makeup of his usual main Ember, but it does still have the guitars.
We were talking about Queen Nai earlier, and we talked about her force, and we talked about her crazy defense. But Duke, why don't we see everybody playing Queen Nai?
I mean, it's the negatives, right? It's that defense, or sorry, not the defense. It's the other stats, the stats that aren't defense. It's that move speed and that dexterity. She is easy to just completely outrun. And if you see a matchup where it's the extremes, if you saw Loco Doco on something like a Hattori, you could see him completely run over Queen Nai, and part of the Creed would have nothing that he can do. But instead, Loco Doco went basically head on against the bull. He's going 8 force against the 8 defense of part of the Creed, and he's gonna go essentially unkillable. Wait, what's the phrase?
Unkillable beef castle.
No. The phrase unstoppable force versus immovable object. I swear English is my first language. Part of the Creed is that immovable object, and Loco Doco is going to try to be that unstoppable force, but part of the Creed with that neutral sig might be showing a little bit more force than Loco was ready for.
Oh, and Loco just punched Creed in the back of the head while Creed was charging that signature.
Loco Doco just threw that side sig off of the soft platform for the cutest little spin. It didn't really do a lot, but he was able to finish off that stock with the help of that land side sig. Loco Doco knew exactly the range for that kill and had the 8 force to back it up.
And we saw Creed coming in with the spot dodge, and Creed's gonna get a kill himself. This is just kind of, it's a little bit awkward back and forth right now. Nobody is building up a whole bunch of steam, even though one of them's playing Scarlet.
I mean, it's a very unorthodox matchup. You don't see a whole lot of Scarlets, and you don't see a whole lot of Queen Nais played in general. So I'm sure neither of them really have that much experience in this set.
We're seeing Loco just kind of go all over Queen Nai right now. Even though he doesn't have that huge move speed that you talked about earlier, like a character like Hattori has, with that lance, he is able to rocket around and just completely control the ground space and the airspace.
And speaking of that lance, he gets the big, once again, I'm going to point out, 8 force side signature onto part of the Creed. Loco Doco has hit that twice for kills each time, and part of the Creed has not been able to answer back for it.
Has Creed hit a single signature?
He hit a spear neutral sig very early on in the game, but aside from that, he hasn't really been able to do so. Alongside that, I don't think I've seen a whole lot from part of the Creed's Kataris. He got 1 side air to finish off Loco, but aside from that, has he really been able to get any big strings?
I haven't. It's been little bit by little bit. We haven't seen a lot of Qatar signatures, which I would say is largely her stronger signature kit in terms of active frames, dynamicness of the actual.
I believe that's a technical term, by the way, dynamicness.
Yes, that's what the engineers at Blue Mammoth Games refer to it as. We haven't seen a lot in the signature game, which Queen Nai, her Qatars, they're very strong. It's easy to pluck someone out of the air with the Qatar neutral sig.
I mean, not just the Qatars, but just the signatures in general have so much force behind them. But Loco Doco, there's the edge guard that we were looking for, able to get the rest on top of part of the Creed. Part of the Creed might be top 99% diamond edge guarders, but Loco Doco looking like that 1%er.
I didn't know if it was like okay to type a "we are the 99%."
All right, we're going back. We're going back into it. Part of the Creed switches up the character. He's gonna go into Koji completely 180 degrees from that Queen Nai. Now he's got 8 dexterity, and he's gonna be trying to be that unstoppable object. That he is gonna just try to run down Loco Doco, and you're seeing it already starting off. He's got Loco in that juggle with that sword and that 8 dexterity.
Yeah, from one extreme of the spectrum to the other extreme, he's gonna be the one looking to run around and just completely bring the onslaught onto Loco, and he's doing good work of it right now.
He was getting those dares. Loco finally able to get outside of it, uses that weapon toss. A lot of safety on top of it, but part of the Creed doesn't even need to edge guard. Loco just running out of jumps at the bottom of the map.
Look how little damage part of the Creed has taken right there. That is hardly enough damage to even notice a color change from white to yellow.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Koji has 4 defense?
It's probably, I would say that's correct, but
I mean, it's definitely, it's on the low end of defense, right?
He's making it look like Koji has all the defense in the world.
Well, not only that, but defense doesn't matter if Loco can't get a hit, and so far, Loco's first stock wasn't able to get a hit, but this stock he comes back, uses that hammer, gets a big string to get Creed into the red, and that unarmed ground pound. He loves those rests, man.
Yeah, that was an incredible rest from Loco right there. He was able to turn this game around very quickly. As I'm saying that, we've seen Creed just put out an incredible amount of damage on that bow. Unarmed in the bow, I don't think is necessarily the worst matchup for unarmed, but Creed is certainly making it look like that right now.
I mean, it's definitely got to be one of the worst matchups in the world on that wall. Part of the Creed completely controlled that wall, and I mean, I said it before, I'm gonna say it again, top 99% Diamond Edgeguard is showing his face with that bow. Completely controlled that wall, and Loco now a full stock behind part of the Creed.
And Creed, with that lead, he is able to use these I don't want to call them on stage, but they're not on the side and they're not necessarily that high, but he's using these sword recoveries for just nice little bits of extra damage. That move is so good at building up damage.
Yeah, it is, I believe, the most optimum damage builder. The downlight recovery is the most optimum for sword damage, and you're hitting the nail on the head. That sword recovery builds up so much damage so quickly. But
Okay, I'm gonna have notes, and I think you guys should take a break because y'all need to take a break. I'm gonna go over my notes real quick about those couple games. So at the beginning, when it was like Queen Nine versus I don't remember whom, but Rami, you could have talked about Queen Eye's guitars at the beginning instead of going straight into her fours and why people don't pick her. I think that would have been a good lead-in after you said yes and to Duke's comments about Queen Eye's guitars. So pretty much you could have done both and that would have been perfect. But instead you almost ignored Duke's comments about Queen Eye's guitars and just went into, well, we talked about Queen Eye before, we talked about her fours, and people don't really pick her. Why don't you think people pick her? So I guess the ideal situation is do both. Acknowledge Duke's comments about Queen Eye's guitars and maybe add in your own little input about your opinions about that. And then to continue the conversation further about Queen Eye, you can then lead into why people don't pick her and talk about her force, yada, yada, yada. So that was like I hope that was a clear example of negating each other. Okay. When you guys, I think you guys are just stumbling because you guys didn't know what to say. My note here says that you guys were negating each other when you guys started talking about play-by-play. And I know that's probably really difficult to connect dots and be friends, but when it comes to play-by-play, one person can be doing play-by-play and say, oh my god, Coco did this and this string of shit, and the other person could maybe go into analysis about that, right? So there are ways to connect your play-by-plays, because at that moment in that moment, the reason why I wrote this note is because y'all started talking about different play-by-plays. One person was talking about Creed, the other one talking about Coco, and that technically is not connecting. One person could have talked about Creed's play-by-play, and then the other person could have been like, yes, the reason why that string worked so well because Nash, or not Nash, whoever he was playing has this amount of shit and he was playing this weapon and Coco didn't dodge or blah 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 in time. So there are ways to connect both play-by-play and analysis, and I know it comes with practice, but y'all need to start picking that up together. Like, okay, one person does play-by-play, I don't have to keep doing play-by-play, I can go to analysis if I want to, so forth. Hopefully that makes it a little bit smoother for y'all, because just that one part, I don't know when it happened, but both of y'all's play-by-plays, it was just really, what's the word? It was just really conflicting instead of being nice and smooth and having this nice flowing conversation about something. Duke, you could have talked about, wait, Oh, okay. I think Rami was talking about how Lance is just dominates the air and the space around the air, and Duke. This is a clear example for you when you negated Rami's thoughts. You just went straight into talking about 8 force, or like this character has 8 force, instead of talking about why Lance takes so much airspace and what blah blah blah. If you wanted to do both, once again, remember the motto of yes and. So acknowledge Rami's talk about Lance and how it dominates the air, and then you can maybe put your little inputs about that and then go into the next topic, which is force, right? So I hope that's a clear example of when you negated something with Rami. I like that you guys are sounding like you guys are talking and just having that nice, it still sounds professional, but there's this nice casualness. Like, yes, you guys sound like you guys are friends. You guys are joking around with each other. You guys are acknowledging the jokes and going with it. You guys are breathing. It sounds like you guys have air and you guys can talk. There's a nice sense of friendship and being a little bit in sync at this point. This was getting later into that second round. You guys were just flowing a lot better. Not because you guys were joking around and not because you guys were asking questions to each other. I just think, I'm not quite sure what y'all did. Maybe you guys knew what to say. Maybe you guys already had, you know, whatever, like, yeah, maybe you guys knew what to say, but there's this nice flow to your conversation as far as the dots were connecting. And there was a nice sense of you guys were actually like being in sync and acknowledging each other and your thoughts. I should have taken a note of why it worked. I honestly think it might have been because you guys knew exactly you knew what to say next, right? You knew what to say next, so that probably made things a little bit easier as far as flowing and connecting your thoughts together. Duke, there are points in time where you just need to like breathe or just have like a half more second to think of what to say, because I think it's funny that you acknowledge that you're stumbling on your words, but I don't think you should be stumbling and struggling that much. Like, you know the game, you know the characters, you know the players, you know this, so be confident in what you're saying and just breathe a little bit so that, you know, so you can think. It seems like you didn't know what to say, and so you start stumbling. But you know the game, and you know all the characters, and you know the players. So be a little bit more confident. My last note was for Duke. I put why sword damage builds so quickly. I think.
Did I even say that?
I think you said it. Something about sword damage can build. Oh,
you're talking about recovery.
Yeah, like Sora can build damage really quickly. Either you or Rami could have expanded on why so.
I mean, it's just that's the most efficient way to do it. Downlight recovery.
Okay,
yeah.
You could have said that. Well,
I did. I literally did.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, my bad if I missed it, but that's just, I'm just making notes.
I got you, my dude.
I'm just making notes.
This note taker, am I right? SMH?
Are you serious right now? Are you serious right now?
Can we get a note taker?
Are you fucking serious right now?
Alright, where's the notes on Whitesheepie's notes?
When are we gonna have note taking?
Are we taking a like 10-second pee break so I can get water and pee?
I think you guys need to take a little bit longer of a break because, dude, you stumbled a lot.
I'm sorry, I got 4 hours of sleep.
Okay, so then take a fucking break because
Eat my butt.
Because in fucking or just behavior science in general, like if you keep practicing over and over and over, which is, you know, human nature to want to practice until you're perfect, when you start getting tired and when you start getting like fucking in a sense burned out, you start showing bad habits and you start doing them, and the more you do bad habits, the more they get reinforced. Okay, that's just normal behavior science. And so far, Duke, you keep stumbling on your words, so I think you need a break. before you keep stumbling on words, and that keeps getting reinforced.
All right, give me a sec.
Yeah, just take 3 minutes. Easy.
BRB.
Take a break. Like how no one knows who I am. I'm just some bitch that came onto the stream. Also, Rami, I keep hearing myself echo. Is it coming from you?
I don't know because I don't know when you're hearing it. I'm not hearing it, but I'm not seeing my thing light up that much. I'm seeing it occasionally light up, but I think that's from my AC.
Okay, do you guys hear me echo?
I think Duke does, but I'm not.
Because I can hear myself echo sometimes when I'm talking.
I've never had issues with echo before, but it is weird that if Duke's hearing it and you're hearing it and I'm not hearing it, it could be me.
I don't know. It's just really off-putting in a sense that I'm trying to like tell you notes and I'm talking.
Believe
and
me,
then
I don't
want to
listen to you. I don't want to listen to you either. Like
you fuck boy.
You're preaching to the choir.
Oh yeah. Okay. Thanks, Rami. But yeah, I just like hear myself, and it's just really hard to concentrate on what I want to say because I can hear myself.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get water.
Okay. Everyone, go take a break. It's break time.
All right, what's going on?
Did you take a break?
You're a break.
Did you go eat a snack?
I got stuff. I've got my water right here.
Okay. Rami went to go, like, take a break.
Wait, it was there, now it's gone. What's gone? What? I'm looking at chat.
What?
Are you guys still on break?
Yeah, we're on break. What's up?
They're on break.
Cool. I don't know. We wanted to say hi.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Good job, everyone.
Did I do well?
Loco,
Hey.
you suck. You should really practice more.
Damn.
Damn.
You guys know I
bingo.
don't main Ember anymore, right?
Who do you main?
I don't main anyone. I just play a bunch of guitar characters.
So you main Ember.
No.
No.
I play Ember. I play Asuri. I play Nai.
So you main Ember.
No, I don't.
You can keep
You
saying.
can't force him to main someone he doesn't main anymore.
I was like, I played Sir Roland, and
If
you're
you're-
like, he doesn't know how to play sword. He doesn't know how to play lance. I know how to play sword. I played Asuri up to like.
Okay, I didn't say that. I would have said you're confident in your sword. Maybe not so your lance, but I'm fairly certain you at least have a usable knowledge of a sword. But B, you're an Ember main. If you're in
No.
if you're in grand finals of a tournament, who are you gonna pick? Who's your first?
Not
main?
Ember.
He's gonna go
Who-
Nye.
Who are
I'm
you gonna
picking
pick?
Nai.
You're drunk.
Well, maybe. Depends on the opponent. I'll either pick Nai, Asuri, or Ember.
It's winners finals against LDZ. Who are you gonna play?
It depends on how he's been playing the rest of the last few games.
He's playing Koji.
It depends on his Koji. I have never played LDZ's Koji in a tournament setting.
You're gonna lose if you don't play Ember.
I'm not.
You're drunk.
Honestly, we'll probably
Ember
fucking find
pressure.
out if we
This
still have
peer
like
pressure.
four diamonds in US West signed up.
Why
Look,
are you
look,
peer
look, look, look,
pressuring him?
Look. LDZ is on the list. Arkosh is on the list.
Of what? Biggest shitters in America?
Loco is on the diamonds who are signed up. There's Loco. There's
Why are there
Griffin.
people signed up?
Nojin. Mother Russia. Part of the Creed and Blood Diamond. And then
If it's not-
Eiffel and Jellyfish. Yeah.
Berthan?
No, Berthan's not signed up.
He
Oh,
was
yeah, he is,
signing
he
up
is,
on
he
your
is, he is.
stream.
Oh,
It's either gonna be Mother Russia or LDZ.
You're that confident in Mother Russia?
Mother Russia?
I don't-
all Mother Russia
I
has is
don't know.
Hattori.
I don't think Mother Russia's bad, but Mother Russia winning
Mother
the
Russia
whole
can't
only
beat
tournament.
LDZ.
plays one legend.
It's gonna be
Yeah, no,
it's gonna be
I'm saying-
LDZ over Mother Russia.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm saying if LDZ tilts himself into shit, then it's gonna be Mother
LDZ
Russia.
doesn't tilt, by the way. Just to let you know.
Uh-huh. We'll see about that.
He never
Have
tilts.
We'll
you
see
seen
about
how worried
that.
he is?
Dude, what about Jellyfish, man?
Nah.
Jellyfish is he playing?
Yeah.
Jelly's too reckless.
Is he signed up?
I think if Jellyfish tones himself down a little bit, yes, he's signed up.
Okay.
If he tones himself down a
hear he's
little
not
bit,
playing.
he'll be able to play. He's signed up.
Like, I hear he won't be able to make it to BCX.
He
and
signed up before you, Creed. All right, how about you?
Damn
hold it?
shit on Creed, you
I
garbage
never
boy.
guys,
said I was
chill,
gonna be the
shit.
first person to sign up. But guess what? Apparently,
first
now you
person
need
to
your
sign up?
Valhalla ID to sign up. No one fucking told me that.
Yeah, no.
This is a nice little
that was-
break we're having,
Was I the
guys.
first one to sign up?
No, the first person to sign up was Rico from Ramen Fighters.
Dude, that's my fucking boy Rico right there. He's fucking gonna take
Rico.
it. LEZ who?
All right. Are we going back
Are we
in?
going? Okay.
Hey, get Creed out of here.
Hey,
Gobi,
Omar.
you can stay, fam.
Alright. Wait, who can stay, who can go?
No, Gobi, get the fuck
Go.
out.
Oh,
I was only saying that because Creed was here.
oh, okay, I'll leave. Wait, do I have to leave for real though?
It doesn't
Yeah,
really
just
matter.
watch
You're
it on
probably
the
gonna
fucking
have
stream
you probably
like
have more
everybody
fun
else,
with
nerd.
them.
Damn, calm the fuck down, Rami.
It's okay, it's okay.
You're
It's
so
okay,
good at
Cookie.
Lance, then dare the fuck out of here.
Damn.
Okay, no, I'm staying. You better have to move me now. I'm not fucking leaving.
I'm sorry, Gobi. I love you, dude.
Too late. He's moved. All right. Are we good?
Yeah.
Are you good, Winan?
Yeah.
I'm dying. American voices are so nice. Just say cunt and we'll sound Australian.
No, Australian voices are so nice.
Damn.
That's not Kyler.
I know, but I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, well, it looks like Kyler. All right.
Like I actually was thinking about
Who is
Chris, like,
Skylar not
Hemsworth.
Kyler for real?
No, correct.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, well,
Unless I'm just like getting worked so hard.
dude, it.
Also, Patena said I'm a Sav. I thought he said I'm a Slav.
Yo.
And I was about to go get up my
Are you
tracksuit and start
squatting right now?
squatting.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We've got part of the Creed versus Loco Dogo. Loco Dogo on Diana. This is one of those off picks. He brings it out sometimes. But Loco Dogo, it's mostly just so he can practice bow whenever I've seen him play it. On the other side, part of the Creed's playing Jala, one of the more underpicked characters with a sword. Why do you think that is?
People are just so afraid of 3 defense. It's like Crocky plays Ada, but he's kind of the only Ada player. Nobody plays Thatch. And I think people are just really scared of that 3 defense.
I mean, isn't the argument against that is gun thick they're bad, right? Like isn't that
No,
kind of
People just don't know how to use Cannonball yet. They say people don't know how to use Lance. People don't know how to use Cannonballs, alright?
Yeah, the Cannonball meta just has not quite developed yet. And we're seeing part of the Creed there. That 3 defense is doing him no favors right now. He's already in the red against Loco.
One of Jala's kind of biggest feats that she can do is she's so steamrolly. If she can get that train going, I swear her axe never stops swinging, her sword never stops swinging, you just never stop getting hit. And apparently you don't even have to start getting hit because Loco just will fall.
Part of the Creed put the fear of God into Loco just now. He just dropped the keyboard and it just fell to his death. Fresh stocks coming in, 2 versus 2. But Loco, he's had the gun, threw it away, and is now picking up the bow.
And he's looking for just those kind of simple ground pound edge guards, which right now, even though Jala's only in the yellow, with that 3 defense, that could be what what Loco would need to get a very, very early gimp.
Oh yeah, I mean that 3 defense just means more force is going to be applied on every single big hit. And if Loco Doco can get those big ground pounds, it's going to be what he needs. But we're seeing part of the Creed with that sword is just dragging Loco each side of the map every time, just able to position perfectly thanks to the slightly higher movement speed and knock Loco down.
And this is where that train starts going. The hardest part about driving a train is getting the train moving. Once it starts going, it just keeps going forever.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
God damn it, could have waited, man.
Train's been halted.
If it would have been a little bit quieter, I could probably talk about trains for like 15 minutes
No,
while you're just
no,
doing it.
I was gonna stop it right there. Like, you were literally like interrupting Rami, and that's just fucking rude. Like, you could have waited to follow up with that train joke, you fuck.
And yet you make fun of me because that used to be my text message notifier.
I'm sorry, did you get a text just now?
No, I fucking had to change it.
You didn't. I didn't tell you to do anything.
I was cyberbullied into changing it.
Yeah, well, you know. You didn't go on the Twitter to call me out for cyberbullying.
I wasn't safe, man. I thought I was safe. I'm not safe. No one's safe.
All right, game 1 went the way of Part of the Creed, able to finish it off with that axe dare. We're gonna be coming into game 2, and it looks like Part of the Creed wants to show Loco how to play Diana. He's gonna do it. It's just gonna happen.
Diana's one of those weird characters that everybody says is really, really, really good. Like, bow is good, guns are good, but nobody's actually played Diana very well. Like, everybody knows Dobrain is a god, but even he can't win with Diana.
Yeah, what's the highest we've seen a Diana make it inside of BCS? Not in 2v2.
It's maybe Dobrain making third in the EU 1v1, maybe. But I don't even know if he just played. I can't remember if he just played Diana there.
I was just gonna say. I think most Dianas are non-mains. They're kind of backup pocket picks that they pull out when they're looking for something a little bit different. Maybe something with a gun, and they've been sticking with those bows and having success. You know, they just like to pull it out to kind of throw their opponent off guard.
I'm really glad that you didn't ask me like why people don't win with Diana, because like I don't know. Her stats are good, like her sigs aren't terrible. Some of them are kind of readable, some of them are easy to predict. But like she has good weapons, she has good stats. I don't understand. I legitimately, it is a question. If somebody could answer it for me, please.
Well, we see Part of the Creed is starting to use those signatures, and there's a big bow ground pound. That thing has, I want to say bow ground pound has the highest force in the game, maybe second to, or as far as ground pounds go, second to maybe hammer ground pound.
Yeah, it's like, its caveat is that it's the slowest, but like it's so good.
It's one of those moves where if you got to get it early. You can't charge that thing up and go swinging with it. And Loco Doco needs to respect that bow ground pound. He's gotten the warning once, and he's got to start respecting it along that wall if possible. Try to win it out in the neutral.
And we're seeing Creed kind of take a while to recoup himself, but apparently that was the breather that he needed, because Loco went a little bit too far down, and we saw Creed capitalize with that unarmed ground pound.
Yeah, that over-aggression from Loco Doco definitely spelt his downfall. He just wanted to keep the pressure on top of Creed, and you're seeing it again. He's over-aggressing onto the left side, and
did that? What? Hello?
Loco.
Creed didn't even do anything that amazing. Like, apparently the best edge guard is no edge guard at all.
You know, I don't know why Twitch alerts is going off right now. Excuse me.
Because everybody's trying to follow that young boy, twitch.tv/designated Asian, dude.
No, it's that hot one viewer host. But whatever. Loco Doco, he fell asleep at the keyboard. I don't know what happened.
I guess he just bonked his head and the panic set in. It happens to me when I do it. If I'm playing ranked and it happens, I'm screaming.
What?
It's no fun.
Twitch alerts, please. Twitch alerts, please.
Notes or not?
Yeah, go to notes, technically.
Okay. Let's just go and talk about the first match. Duke, I think you did a really good job at leading in the beginning and like posing a question about what's her name? Jahala, whatever.
Jala.
Yeah. You did a good job at leading in by like talking about her and then posing a question to Rami, so that was great. When you guys started talking more about her and why people don't play her, you suddenly went on a tangent about Thatch, and that's fine that you guys wanted to mention Thatch, but I think you talked a little too much about Thatch because none of the players weren't.
We're playing Thatch. It was irrelevant. Okay.
It was it's fine to mention him, that he also doesn't get played much, but there's no point in going further into detail about his cannonballs and stuff. Like none of the characters are playing. I mean, none of the players are playing that character. So, if anything, as a suggestion or a recommendation, it would have been better to talk about why she isn't played much, and then of course mention Thatch, but then lead back into her about why isn't she played much, or maybe expand upon maybe she's not played enough because of her kit or maybe her stats or whatever. Just lead it back into the character you were talking about, which was not Thatch. Let's see. There's a point in time where y'all both did play-by-play, and it was a little bit of negation. Duke talked about Bo or something like that. Like something happened. It was play-by-play about Bo, and said Rami didn't talk about that. Sorry, I'm trying to read my notes, but pretty much, I think two characters. What are you laughing about?
Nothing.
What are you laughing about?
Nothing.
What are you laughing
SMH.
There were two characters, and there was a negation, and yeah.
Dude, I'm trying to fucking take all these goddamn notes. Fuck you, man.
I'm giving you a hard time. This is our bit.
Oh my god, I hate our bit. Stop it.
I love our bit.
No, I hate it. Okay. My point with this note, the only reason why I made it was because I think if you guys are going to do play-by-play, there has to be some sort of connection, whether the other commentator talks about analysis about that play-by-play, or you keep talking about that same person instead of jumping to the other player or something like that. There was a little bit of disconnect in that moment. So I think it just comes with practice. Let's see. Okay, so when you guys were talking about Diana and why people say she's really, really good, but like you can't win with her, someone should have posed a question of why people don't play Diana. And I know
Rami was sitting there saying, I don't know why.
Yeah, and I know Rami was there saying he doesn't know why, and that's perfectly, I just want to like reinforce, like, that is okay to say, because I think
yeah, Brandon said that.
Yeah, like DM gave a similar note. It's okay to say, I have fucking no idea why people don't play with her. Maybe she's on the play, maybe she's just, whatever. Like, that's totally okay to say that. I just want to reinforce that. It is okay if you just fucking don't know why this person isn't played when people say she's really, really good. If you want to speculate why she's maybe good, that's also another thing you could have done as well.
We did that.
Okay, shh. Anyways, at the very end, or near the end of this match, you guys had a long pause, like longer than usual. So I don't know if it's just you guys are waiting for maybe the other person to talk, or y'all actually didn't know what to say. But I think you guys do have a lot to talk about. If anything, you guys should feel like there's not enough time to talk about things. And because you could either, from what I've heard when I saw you guys get coach, and from my knowledge of things, when it comes right down to it, you guys are going to be commentators and analysts, right? So you guys will be doing play-by-play and analysis. Y'all can easily jump back and forth to those things. You guys should really feel like there's not enough time to talk about things. I mean, these matches are usually only 5 minutes long, and there's only so much you can say within 5 minutes. There shouldn't be that long pause near the end of this match. It was just it was longer than usual, longer than all the other pauses that you guys have done so far. So I don't know if y'all were waiting for each other's turns really nicely or whatever, but that's my note. Those are all my notes so far.
Okay.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're ready. Let's give him the go ahead. Yo, I'm gonna just put it. What's happening right now is NA meta. There's
NA meta meeting lands.
this is BCX here. This is Worlds. This is NA meta meeting EU Bodvar versus Scarlet. Tell me about the matchup.
Well, first of all, he's not wearing the black color, so he's not quite full NA yet, but he's still gonna have Sword, which is one of the most used weapons in North America right now. But we're not even seeing Sword coming out first. We're seeing Hammer versus Hammer, also another widely used weapon in North America.
Yeah, so going over the characters, they both have hammers like you were saying, but then the opposite, there's a sword versus a lance, and that sword is just going to be able to pick apart that lance. If played correctly, Part of the Creed just needs to position vertically above Loco Doco, but Loco Doco is going to be looking for a down tick, not able to do anything. And there you see that aerial advantage, and the ground pound is actually going to work out for Loco Doco. Part of the Creed maybe gotten a little too vertical on that one.
Yeah, that's the thing. If Part of the Creed can get in, exactly like you said, he can pick apart that lance. But if he can't get in, then Loco is going to keep him out and keep him at range the entire time. And that was not a great punish from Loco right there.
I was just
Part of the Creed
thinking
was
that.
just charging up that neutral sig for probably 100 years. And Loco just kind of threw the weapon, and it got the hit stun off of the weapon, but that's not a lot of hit stun.
He had the freest punish in the world. He could have gone for a sidelight nair, sidelight recovery, sidelight end sig, could have gone for a downlight into a chase dodge, end light, downlight into a chase dodge, sidelight, like literally almost anything.
Do you just have Dobrain's combo video open right now and you're just like reading off the list?
I got that thing in an Excel document reading that off. I actually, you know, I was just talking to that boy Silly Guppy. But anyways, instead he went for a weapon toss that's like 7 damage, and he didn't even follow up for the stun. I think Loco went a little bit deer in the headlights there, panicked, wanted to punish and get something off, and you know, at least it was better than nothing, right?
Yes, it is better than nothing, but that's what we've kind of seen from Loco so far. Is those little bits of hesitation have kind of cost him a lot of games, but he still does have the lead here.
I mean, it's all thanks to that hammer ground pound. He's hit twice for a finisher. Hammer ground pound is the thing to take down Part of the Creed, and we've been saying for literally weeks now that Part of the Creed is one of the top 99% diamond edge guarders, and Loco Doco is making that boy look like he's a top 99% bronze edge guarder.
That's a little bit rude to our bronze players out there. Word to bronze players. Somebody's got to be bronze.
Yeah, somebody's got to be better than Part of the Creed, right? And Loco Doco is that person able to get the 3rd edge guard onto Part of the Creed. Might be seeing a little bit of tilt now, a little unorthodox from Part of the Creed.
Creed lives in North America, but he does not subscribe to the North American meta with that sword.
Well, I mean, he might subscribe a little bit, considering he's switching to the new North American favorite, Koji.
Does Koji even have heavy signature attacks? I don't think so, right?
I mean, well, what do you mean by heavy?
He's one of those new characters that all of his attacks are light attacks.
And
just like the ones that are on Y and B or whatever weird buttons are on the keyboard. It's just so they just have more force than the other ones, right?
Yeah, they're just slightly better light attacks.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Koji is the go anywhere, do whatever you want master.
We're gonna see if Part of the Creed can go anywhere on top of Loco Doco. Starts off, gets a nice nair, but he can't keep that pressure on. Instead, backs up and picks up a sword, and we're gonna see if he can do exactly what we were talking about in game 1, which is get on top of Loco Doco's lance and just go wild. And right now he's doing it. He gets the most efficient sword combo possible. Downlight, gravity cancel downlight into a recovery. That is 50 damage on top of Loco Doco.
Is it really 50?
I'm fairly certain it's 50s. Oh, and he gets the down sig, positions it perfectly. Not an easy signature to position, and that time he's ready for those ground pounds from Loco Doco. It looks like Part of the Creed has adjusted. He was paying attention in game 1, wasn't just sitting back on his laurels as he got bopped. But that hammer toss.
You're singing his praises, but Creed just doesn't want to have nice things said about him right now.
I mean, he's doing better. He's doing better. He is definitely staying inside of this. He just had a little bit of a falter there on that right side edge guard, and Loco Doco was able to take it out. But part of the Creed now with his bow is putting the pressure on top of Loco and is going to try to max range those dares and just space out Loco.
Yeah, one of the things that part of the Creed has been doing so well has been that delay that we talked about earlier. He's waiting for just a moment to put Loco into that panic mode to where he has to consciously think about every breath that he takes, the way that his tongue feels in his mouth, everything that's happening. And Creed is just sitting there calm, cool, and collected, waiting for Loco to make a mistake.
Yeah, Loco was definitely making quite a few mistakes. He jumped into 2 of those neutral sticks, and again, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. There was a little bit of hesitation from Loco Doco. He had a punish opportunity. Part of the Creed charged up a neutral sig, and Loco, he just went for an end light. He could have gone for any of the unarmed strings, the downlight recovery dare, downlight recovery nair, whatever you want, but he went for an end light.
I don't know how often Loco plays against people that aren't necessarily in ranked, like how often he does like custom scrims, but maybe he's just not used to playing the caliber of player that Creed is, and definitely that Creed is today, because that's what it comes down to. It's how every single player plays in that game at that moment. I scrim sometimes with Loco. I know you scrim with Loco, but maybe it's just different playing against someone who plays as well as Creed is right now.
Or it might just be just unfamiliarity with the character matchup. He plays Koji himself, but maybe he's not used to playing against Kojis. But right now, Loco Doco, with a very stylish hammer down sig, was able to even up the stocks and might be able to take it out if he can use his hammer effectively. He needs to max range the horizontal. Bow is not strong in that horizontal position, and Hammer has a very, very strong horizontal with that side air.
Yeah, one of Bo's biggest options is the incredible Nair hitbox. And even with the sword, Creed doesn't have the lateral space because Loco is going to charge up that side sig and get the kill.
You know, we were griefing him about those hesitations, those just slightly misplayed punishes, but that was the perfect punish. Held that side sig just enough to completely outspace the side sig from part of the Creed and finish him off.
I don't think Creed heard the nice things that I was saying about him, so I think we're all good.
Yeah, I think we're okay. He was in concentration mode.
You got to delete the VOD ASAP, Rocky.
You got it. I'm already putting in the worm. Is that
okay? Cool. Yep, that's a thing. Very good.
Yep.
Just wipe the servers, do a stack overflow, hit them with the memory leak, and we're good.
All right. With that, I think it is time to go to notes.
Okay, I was gonna let you guys possibly talk about the post-game shit and maybe like do some analysis with that as far as like who won, damage done, damage taken, why, shit like that, because I haven't heard it at all. So I'm gonna let you guys do that right now.
Well, we don't have the damage numbers in front of us.
Yeah, I closed.
Oh, the damage. Okay, so Coco did 507 damage, and he took 544. That should help you, right? Because Creed is the opposite. He did more damage and took less.
Can we just do it next game?
Yeah, can we just do it? Can we just do another best of 3 and then do it?
Yeah, just. Okay, so do you want notes first, or do you want to just go?
Yeah, let's just do notes, and then we'll do a best of 3, and then we can talk about post game as if it was an actual set.
Okay, cool. I think honestly y'all did really fucking well this time around. So I don't have that many notes. I was actually trying to figure out what notes to write for y'all. My first note is why is sword used a lot? I mean, it might seem like common sense for people who play this game a lot, but for viewers who don't fucking know, you said that in NA people like to play sword. Sword is used a lot. Why? And why for that certain character at that point in time? Just saying. You could have gotten, one of y'all could have easily went a little bit further into that. Let's see. I have Duke. You like negated Rammy's talk about Hammer by talking about characters instead. But you guys have gotten better about not doing that to each other as far as like disconnecting each other's thoughts. Because I have good job. I have a note that says good job, Duke, about listing out possible punishment. So I think Rami was talking about a play-by-play or something, and you went into like the analysis of what Coco could have done to punish instead of what he did. Like, it was really good. Like, that shit was tight. So keep doing that. I know that Creed is our friend and we can fuck around with him and joke around with him, but like, damn, like, don't rip him a new one. You guys were like joking pretty hard on Creed at one point. I was like, dude, chill. And then Rami had a lot of nice things to say, so maybe that like canceled everything out. But like, I know that we know Creed and he's like totally cool with us like joking around, but I guess what I'm trying to say is don't focus so hard on anything negative about a player. And I know you guys were joking around about Creed at one point, and it was a little bit negative, just a little bit. I don't know, enough for me to make a note about it that I was like, damn, y'all chill. Like, I know we know Creed, but damn, chill. My last little note was like I said, y'all did a lot better this time around as far as like connecting each other's thoughts and like leading in and out of gameplay and analysis. I said when Creed was doing his sword shit with Koji, dude, you did a really good job at saying like the whole like it's 50 damage, yada yada yada. Like, you went to analysis of it when I think Rami was mentioning the play-by-play of it. So once again, like, that's just keep that shit up. I'm trying to figure out other notes that I can give y'all, because honestly, this is at least in my opinion. Brandon might have other opinions, but in my opinion, I thought that was actually pretty legit.
As long as we're improving, then if Brandon's like, hey, y'all like are slipping in this aspect, then we'll find out when we do a second session. But at least we're practicing and improving. So
like, this is probably by far the best one. This one. It was really nice. And y'all actually sounded like friends. So
I know it takes a lot of acting.
I know, right?
Dude, that's fucked up. Like, I know you can fuck around Creed like that, but dude, that's harsh.
I'm getting you a 16-inch Glock barrel. No, I'm not. Fuck that shit.
God, don't.
It'd be so funny though.
What do you want for your birthday, Rami?
I want you to fucking leave me alone!
Oh my god.
Easy? You got it, baby.
See, that's my boy right there.
No, I'm gonna fucking bother the shit out of you on your birthday.
Fucking go away.
Alright, we good? Are we good?
Oh yeah, we good.
We Gucci? Alright, let's give
but yeah, make sure that post...
Okay, we'll do a post set.
Yes.
Are you ready, Rami?
Yeah.
All right, it looks like we're seeing part of the Creed hover on Orion. This is an interesting pick. Orion kind of fallen out of favor as of late, mostly due to just the fact that Lance is considered the lowest of the weapons so far due to its inability to really approach people. But we're seeing a Lance on both characters. It's gonna come down to Spear versus Hammer. What do you think of that matchup?
Spear. I'm always gonna give a matchup to Spear. I'm sure Spear has bad matchups, but I don't know what they are. I probably believe that they don't have any bad matchups. Spear, the spacing of it, side air is an incredibly good spacing tool. Vertically, recovery and ground pound have so much utility. Nair is just a 360-degree hitbox that is more or less just a better Qatar Nair. And down air is a great gimping tool. Whenever you hit, it builds space between you and your opponent, so you hit them down and you get propelled upward. There is no bad Spear move.
And not to mention the fact that he's got the one thing that every Orion loves, that Spear neutral stick, but we're not even seeing the Spear right now. Part of the Creed is the first one to pick up a weapon, and he picks up the Lance that we were saying was not really the strongest thing, but Loco just goes straight on top of him so that part of the Creed doesn't have to worry about approaching because Loco does the approach for him. Ooh, clash. Double clash!
Double clash?
Very interesting. That is a new mechanic. That is a thing that does not does not happen, and we're seeing it happen twice now. But we're seeing the edge guard situation. That thing, just the Orion tool. He could have gone for a gravity cancel neutral sig, but unfortunately was not able to get that out in time.
I think because Creed isn't traditionally an Orion player, he's not gonna just fish for that neutral sig every time there's an edge guard situation.
I mean, from my experience, it's the people who aren't Orion mains, the people who just know it for that spear neutral sig, that fish for it the most. But part of the Creed showing he doesn't need it. Instead, he's gonna set up a trap, puts a mine down, and launches a spear high in the sky. But Loco respects the meteor, goes to the other side to pick up a hammer.
And to be fair, you were talking about Orion mains earlier, and they're kind of really in the competitive scene right now. There aren't really Orion mains. The only time we ever see him really picked up is we see legit Punisher occasionally play him when he's not playing Nash or a handful of other characters, or we see Crocky play him in 2v2, usually for the defense increase compared to Ada, who has 3.
I think you're leaving out a couple of people, but the ones who do it, the general statement is either A, they focus on that spear play, right? Like if we're talking about Crocky and currently part of the Creed, or B, they're gonna go a little bit more safe with their movement. Legit Punisher, and I'm thinking about Scroyan with that statement. They're a little bit safer with the way that they approach so that they don't suffer that issue of that Lance approach. Instead, they try to make their opponent approach for them. And Loco Doco now with the hammer is trying to find an approach back to the platform, makes it safe with that unarmed nair.
And Creed, you saw him just throw that lance there, and you saw him nair there, and we'll get to that neutral sig in a second because that was sweet. But that's something, those are two things that really bring out the potential of the lance. The lance nair, almost immediate 360-degree hitbox. Please don't do that when I'm talking about you nicely, Creed. Come on, dude. And then I forgot the other move because of that mine. The nair and then throwing. Those are the two things to really bring out the maximum potential of the lance.
Yeah, both of them cover a lot of space, and that's exactly what you need. And unfortunately for Creed, he wasn't able to cover the space below him. Loco going underneath the soft platform, making it impossible for Creed to use a weapon toss to interrupt. Creed's only option was to try to avoid it, but he had burned a lot of his movement and instead just took a neutral sig to his feet. And we're seeing a character swap. He's gonna go. He says, I died too quickly, but I like the spear. So I'm gonna switch it up to Queen Nai, that 8 defense. It's gonna be 2 more on top of Orion 6.
I really like the way that Loco kind of played that entire last game. You didn't see us focusing a lot on the moves he was making because he wasn't necessarily making gigantic plays. He wasn't the human highlight reel last game. He was just kind of getting his hits in, and then all of a sudden at the end of the game, you look up in the top right corner, the screenshot pauses, and Loco won. And it's not the biggest surprise in the world, but it happened. And all of a sudden, Creed's dead.
Yeah, it was a very intelligently paced game from Loco, which is actually very unorthodox for Loco. Loco likes to go for those big styling plays. He likes to go for those gimps, and part of the Creed is the one to get the gimp at the bottom of the map, stuffs that Lance recovery, and that is part of the kit that a lot of Lance players are not a fan of right now, just how easily you can just completely negate the Lance recovery tool.
Yeah, the Lance recovery is kind of the most interesting recovery in the game. You have Gauntlet is that way, but with the ground pound. But with Lance recovery, you can interrupt it by just kind of taking it, and apparently Loco is just going to take it to the hole and immediately knock part of the Creed down. Queen Nai, he just killed Queen Nai.
That was
just like that.
That was so just clean. He just gets the hit, goes for a weapon toss, then immediately ground pounds, and there was just no possible solution for part of the Creed. Loco covered everything and used that weapon toss to just completely cover that entire shenanigans area. Really, really well played from Loco, but he needs to keep this pacing going. He's still behind. If you look in the top right-hand corner, he is at the deficit, very close to death, and he's going into the shenanigans.
Yeah, and you saw Creed throwing out those dares. He's ready to get that kill right now. He's throwing out a side signature. He's throwing out everything but the kitchen sink to try and take out Loco right now, because Loco is very much in kill percentage.
Loco is... He's in part of the Creed's head, right? He just went for the neutral sig, was perfect in positioning, but just not quite the correct timing. Second time he goes into that shenanigans area, hits the neutral sig onto part of the creed. Loco knows exactly what he's looking for. He just needs to find the timing for that. But like you're saying, part of the creed was able to finish off that stock just by throwing out just a little bit of everything.
Loco going very deep right now with Creed. Creed, you know he was trying to get around and get in front of that recovery, but Loco able to finally turn it around, get that ground pound the same way he took out stock 1. He needs to keep part of the Creed off of weapons right now. One of Queen Nai's biggest issues is her low movement speed, and if you can definitely keep her off weapons, you can just always be in her territory. She can't get away from you.
Yeah, that low movement speed might be a big hindrance for part of the Creed, but on the other side, he's got 7 force and 8 defense. Part of the Creed has racked up so much damage onto Loco Doco, and if Loco Doco wants to just completely negate that advantage, he's got to win out inside of the shenanigans. He needs a weapon for it, and there's the lance pickup, but that spear dare. One more spear down air for part of the Creed to finish off that stock.
You saw Creed just throwing out spear down airs, almost completely unpunished on the side of Loco Doco. And if you just look at the difference in the damage right here, it's about 150 damage more given on the side of Creed. That's basically a stock right there.
Yeah, and that definitely is contributed by the fact that Loco just wasn't able to do as much damage. That 8 defense means that Creed will be taking just slightly less damage, but we're seeing a complete switch of characters. Part of the Creed is now switching to Sentinel. Slightly less defense, slightly less force, but is going to be made up with a significantly higher amount of movement speed compared to that Queen Nai pick. On the other side, Loco Doco just out of nowhere going out with a Cassidy. That 8 dexterity hammer is going to be the name of the game for Loco.
He's going to want Creed to be a space cadet. He's going to want to send him at the top of the map with the neutral SIGs, with the gun recoveries. But right now, it looks like I cannot believe he just got a gimp like that's part of the Creed. Unarmed ground pound onto a hammer. Loco had no answer to it. Part of the Creed just coming out early in this game. And he can even take a mine like that. That doesn't even matter right now. Normally, I would shake my head at Creed, but he can afford anything right now.
He can afford a lot, but not too much. Loco Doco is trying to be that astronaut. He's gotten part of the Creed twice high into the sky. If he can get a good recovery position, or just a down sig on the right side of the map, he's going to send part of the Creed down to his death. But we're seeing just he is at a deficit. He's in the red, and part of the Creed just needs one more big hit, a hammer ground pound, or something could do it. Maybe this bomb toss. Part of the Creed almost bombed himself.
Look at him bounce it off the wall. I thought he might have been going for just, he was going to blow both of them up, and because he's Sentinel, he's impossible to kill, so he'd be safe.
Yeah, he definitely could have gone for a trade like that. He was coming in with a fresh stock. There's almost no way a bomb toss trade would have finished him off, whereas on the other side, Loco Doco is pretty deep in the red, and any big hits could be enough, especially on this map, Great Hall. The kill boxes are pretty small in the vertical position.
Did you see how far that side light hit Loco? That hit him off the screen.
I mean, he is deep in the red, but Loco picks up a recovery high in the sky. Not quite high enough, but a couple more of those, and Loco might actually be able to steal this out from part of the Creed.
I think any move that doesn't bounce Loco off of something is going to kill him. And even though that one did bounce him off, the Nair, the Qatar Nair is gonna take out Loco.
You know, I can't fault Loco for that. He took the Nair to the face. He got punished for it, but he was going for the turnaround. He went for that big play on the edge of the map, and he just wanted to go big or go home. And right now, it looks like part of the Creed sending him home, takes him out 2-1 over Loco Doco in a commanding fashion in that final game. And it's just it came down to Qatars. Part of the Creed was able to pick Queen Nai, had Qatars. Sentinel had Qatars. That's the comfort weapon of part of the Creed, and that's all he needed.
Can we talk about kill efficiency for a moment? 2 points to make. Look at the amount of damage that Loco did. He did 304 damage. He got 1 kill. Consequently, on the other side of the spectrum, Sentinel did 397 damage, roughly 90 more damage, but he got 3 kills. Part of the Creed was a very efficient killer. On the other hand, Loco, it took so much effort to take out Creed.
Yeah, those gimps for part of the Creed are definitely a contributing factor. He got one really just absurdly early gimp at the beginning of the map, and from there, you know, that second stock from Loco, it was extended. We saw him get deep in the red, get sent flying from pretty minor force moves, but then that third stock, once again, we saw part of the Creed just go just absolute ham on Loco Doco with those dares, and that's 100% where that efficiency came from. It came down to the gimps.
And that's interesting. I didn't think about it until just now. Have we seen Creed even maybe throw out 5 Qatar recoveries?
No, but while you were prefacing your sentence, I was also thinking, have we seen Creed throw out maybe 5 signatures?
Definitely not that set. Which, compare that to the other sets we saw from Creed, where it was, I mean, let's be real, it was kind of a spam fest.
I mean,
Wait, you're playing Sentinel, what are you going to expect?
Well, the point is, recoveries, signatures, those are generally the big finishers for guitars. That's where you have your opponent in the red, you either go for a neutral light recovery or like a recovery on the wall, or you go for a signature, a setup, a neutral light into a neutral sig, something like that. Some sort of neutral light into a down dodge read, side sig, something. But Creed, just that brutal efficiency on those walls, able to just completely dismantle his opponent with nairs and dares. Very low force moves.
And that's really where you're going to see that Ember mindset kind of come into play, because we said it earlier, Sentinel has an incredible signature kit. Ember's signature kit, in comparison, is not as strong, so you're going to be looking to get gimps. You're going to sometimes be looking for recoveries as well, but it's going to bow, huge gimp potential. Qatar's huge gimp potential. And we really saw him adapt that playstyle over to Sentinel.
Well, with that, I think it's time to go to notes. I don't know if I have anything else to say. All right.
Yeah, before I forget, that post-match analysis talk was actually really good, because I originally, it's before I forget, yeah, because I like deleted it. I originally made a note, but then y'all did really good at like circling back to it, because you guys were asking like, look at Creed, look at him being an efficient killer, and then you like went on to why is he like that, and then you talked about gimps, and then you went into him possibly playing Amber and like getting that mindset. Like, it was just really y'all, because you guys pretty much made a full circle, and that's probably, and like that's probably the ideal like analysis and talk that you guys want in post, you know, matches, and also while matches are happening. Okay, so my notes. So yeah, just really good job on that post talk. So my notes are, I think Rami, you did a really good job at explaining why you think Spear is a better weapon against Hammer. Just get into that thought a little bit faster, because you were, you first said something about, because Duke asked you what it's a better matchup, you automatically said Spear, and then you like, you said something that wasn't correlating to answering the question. So just get into that thought a little bit faster about why Spear is the better weapon choice, or why you think it's a better weapon choice, and you eventually got to it. So I think, yeah, I think yes, you explained it well. Just faster. Just get into it a little bit quicker. You guys were talking about other players. Duke, you half did this, but in the first match, you guys were talking about other players, about like Crocky and like somebody else. But the point is, you were talking about other players, and you didn't lead back into the current players. Duke, you like half did it. You tried to include Creed into this list of other players you guys were talking about, and why that mattered, but dude, I can really hear myself echo. That is so weird. Jesus Christ. Is it
Did
me
it just
that's
happen?
Yeah, it just happened. Is it me?
It was probably. I might be too close to my microphone for some reason, and my headphones are just up loud. Hold on, let me turn them down. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna keep on talking. Okay, I don't hear myself so far, so that's good. Okay, so yes, Duke, we're talking about other players, and then you try to add Creed into this list, but then went on talking about other players instead of Creed. So just be aware that it's totally okay to bring other players in and talk about how, you know, they've used similar characters before and why and so forth, but don't forget the current players that are actually playing, because obviously Crocky wasn't playing in this. It was Creed and Coco. Okay, so you guys are doing better at connecting each other's thoughts. The next step to even better yourselves is make sure you guys shorten what you're saying. Let your co-caster follow up for you. I literally counted how long Rami talked at one point, and he talked for 22 seconds. That is a lot longer than 7 seconds. And during other times, Duke, you also did it as well. You talked for about 30 seconds. And 30 seconds might not seem much, but it's long enough for me to feel like I'm about to zone out. So great that you both have a lot of things you want to say, but trust that your co-caster can follow up for you. And this is obviously, it comes with practice. It comes with practice. When you guys practice more, you guys will pretty much be able to almost finish each other's thoughts. At least that's where
Sandwiches.
you guys want to be. Huh?
Nothing. That was a joke.
Whoa.
Boo.
This is from Frozen. Come on.
Boo. I know it's from that song. That's boo. That was no.
Come on.
We finished each other's sandwiches. I know. I get it. It's from Frozen. Anyways, my point being is that ideally, with more practice, you guys are going to be able to complete y'all's thoughts. I know you guys aren't there yet, but just trust that your co-caster can follow up for you, so you don't sit there and talk for.
Yeah, boo went in. Fuck you and that. You tell her, Creed.
Hey,
That's my boy right there, Creed.
Fuck
You tell her, dude.
Rami. Fuck you, dude. Damn. Get the fuck out. Fuck you, Rami.
All right.
Anyways, seriously, you don't need to be talking for about 20 to 30 seconds long.
Okay.
Let your co-caster follow up for you. Let them finish your thought, or acknowledge your thought and then lead into another topic, okay? There was one part where something amazing happened and Rami was talking for 22 seconds and Duke kept saying, ooh. So Rami is just finish your thought quicker. Get to the point of what you wanted to say a little bit quicker. And honestly, if we had more time, of course, it would be great that you would, you know, explain everything, but we only have 5 minutes for, you know, on average for each match. You can't be talking for like 30 seconds. So just finish your thought quicker and then acknowledge what Duke is saying ooh to. Like, yeah, get into what happened sooner. Pretty much Duke does go into what happened later, but like I'm saying, it could have happened literally at that moment when Duke kept saying, ooh, look, you know, look at that. Look at what's going on. Yeah, so finish your thought faster, Rami, and acknowledge that Duke is trying to literally tell you, like, something amazing is happening on the fucking screen. Let's talk about it. And let's talk about it right now. What else? Oh, so my last note is just, yeah, it's the same thing. Let your co-caster follow up for you and connect your the other person's thought, because on that last match, Duke, you talked for like another like 25 seconds. So you guys are doing better at connecting the dots and like leading into each other's conversations and stuff. Now we just need to make sure that we're, in a sense, following that 7-second rule. Not to like the exact T, but, you know, much closer than like 20 to 30 seconds of talking.
Okay.
Those are all my notes.
All right. You wanna keep going?
Let's do one more because I actually
here, we'll
do have to
we'll do
work,
one last
and it's
one.
midnight,
Last
so
one.
it looks like I'm going to stay up till 3 in the morning.
Last one. We'll do one last one. Wow. All right, here we go. This is going to be another best of 3 set. This is part of the Creed on a new pick, Wushang. Very new to the game. Only been out for less than a month. I don't know if Creed has had the time to put in the real dedication on Wushang that Loco Doco has had on Scarlet. What do you think of this pick?
I'm very curious to see what the potential that he has with Wushang. We've seen a handful of people just kind of pull Wushang out of nowhere. We saw Addy play it in the EU regional qualifier, and he got Gimp after Gimp after Gimp. We saw Boomy 3-0 egg with it. We've seen just so many just random people that are just picking up Wushang and having a ton of success.
And the thing that they've been having the most success with, those gauntlets that part of the Creed is using right now, but Loco Doco's doing a great job of just barely outranging those gauntlet hitboxes. They're pretty close to the chest, and I mean, oppositionally, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, because part of the Creed just forgot how to jump. Loco Doco has just been able to outrange it. I'd like to see part of the Creed try to play that range game himself and use that sword, which you are absolutely in love with. Wushang's signatures on the sword are so free. They're so spammy and so safe. You can throw out the neutral sig and there's next to no recovery. You can throw out the down sig and it puts your hurt box in such a safe position. I'd like to see Creed just kind of abuse them.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest issues with fighting against a Wushang is punishment. Even if he throws out a signature which has a long recovery time after it, it moves his hurt box out of the way, or it actually ends up not having that much recovery time. There's just such a difficult decision to make on how to actually punish them.
It's gonna come down to like borderline being psychic. Loco has to read these neutrals, or read those down sigs, read those neutral sigs. They're kind of awkward in the sense that the neutral sig doesn't hit grounded and it doesn't hit a full jump height. It's at that like weird median half jump height, but I mean, it's almost law of averages, right? You just split the difference and now it works fantastically, but he doesn't even need the signatures. Just double dares Loco Doco with that Wushang. What's his dex, like 6, 7? 6. I mean, that he was able to throw those downers out incredibly fast, and Loco Doco just took him to the face. But conversely, Loco Doco going for those big hits.
You talked for like a minute. Go, Rammy, lead in.
And that's going to be one of those things with Wushang that kind of mid-range dex, you're not going to feel it. It's not going to feel like 8 dex, but it's definitely not going to feel like a penalty. You're going to kind of be able to just attack whenever you want with spear and with gauntlets.
Chat says 7.
7? Dang it!
Loco's got the lance, and there's that awkward neutral sig again.
Part of the Creed coming in with dares. He gets a huge read right there, charging up that signature from the middle of the stage. That is going to kill 5 defense Scarlet.
Yeah, part of the Creed was able to close that out. Honestly, I got a little bit distracted there towards the end, so I genuinely don't know what happened aside from just a really big read on the part of the Creed to get that side sig of Loco Doco dodging in.
We're seeing Loco switch it up now to his kind of old school main, the Orion, the Wanderer skin with the black color. Loco is not messing around, but I can't tell if Creed is because he's playing just standard red Hattori.
It might just be standard red Hattori, but Hattori is not something to be scoffed at, especially on Twilight Grove, where you can get those neutral sigs, which go straight through that they thread that needle on the right side. Or you can just use them on the left side for just shenanigans-y type reads for those big gimps. And I'd like to see part of the Creed try to get that sword if possible, but it is sword against spear, which is a very difficult matchup. Can you explain why?
Just spear outranges it. it just completely outclasses it in terms of just amount of distance the Hurtbox can cover. Sorry, Hitbox.
And we're seeing part of the Creed is not even going to try to motion for a sword. Instead, he's going to be sticking with that spear, and he's been able to trade out pretty efficiently against Loco Doco. Just now switching it up as Loco switches to Lance. Creed has a game plan in mind. It's sword against Lance, spear against spear.
With this sword against Lance, he's going to want to try and use his movement speed to outrun everything that Loco puts out. He will not win the range game. He has to win the movement speed game and outrun those Lance attacks.
Yeah, like you were saying, it is going to come down to positioning, but Loco Doco able to stay a little bit ahead of Creed, switches it back to spear where he can outrange it if possible, but wasn't able to get the weapon throw with the spear that he was looking for, so he backs up, picks up a lance, tries to throw it away, immediately goes for the gravity cancel neutral, but Creed able to avoid it and get the ground pound.
Loco went for an unnecessarily reckless neutral sig when, at this point, Creed has a ton of damage on him. Recovery would have killed. If he would have waited to get above him and done a ground pound, that probably would have killed. We're seeing how far he's getting launched by these Sairs. That's Sair!
That's Sair killed.
Bounce him off the island, and that's going to kill. He could have killed earlier and possibly not died with that gravity cancel neutral sig.
Yeah, I was about to point out a slight level of inefficiency from Loco. He hit the Silite, and he could have gone for the recovery. He could have gone for a gravity cancel neutral sig. Something, they're not true, but they have more kill potential than a Nair. But in the end, he was able to close it out with that Sair.
Oh, and part of the Creed just using that weapon as a trap, letting him get a nice downlight combo, another downlight combo. The neutral sig not going to hit as he chases him into the air. And Loco doing a pretty good job bringing this back right now.
I mean, that is due in part to that 6 defense from Orion, able to hold onto this stock for quite a while up until that sword Sair right on the right side of that island finishes off Loco. But the trade? Was that intentional?
And I hope it was intentional from Loco. I don't think it was intentional from Creed. There's no way he would make that actual decision right there. And Loco is going to hit that unarmed heavy attack. That side signature to take out Creed, bounce him off that island. That island has gotten so many assist points for these kills so far.
I believe the island is the thing that's going to get play of the game at the end of this, just for all of the assist points like you were saying.
We're seeing Creed just crank back that down signature, and Loco is just going to fall into it. There's another one, but I don't think Creed expected that to go off the edge, but he's done 3 down signatures in a row, and Loco has fallen into all of them.
You know, I gotta say, I think Creed is, he's trying to get into the mindset of Mother Russia right now, just throwing out those signatures, something that just everyone who is anyone on the US West ladder that's what Mother Russia is known for, the Hattori down sig.
Oh, and he falls into another down sig, but this time it's the spear down sig, taking him into the fog. And look at the damage difference. It's not a lot of damage, and normally that would be an issue, but again, it points to that kill efficiency from Creed. Creed only did about 100 more damage, but with that 6 Orion defense, that is the issue to look at right there. That is showing how efficient Creed is with these kills.
And on the other side is a level of inefficiency from Loco Doco. You usually want to see a game end around 550 damage. Loco is right on the mark on damage, but not on kills. He was able to extend his stocks, forces Creed to put out 600 damage, 100 extra on top of him, but just wasn't able to finish off the stocks. And it was those little moments like that sidelight nair or the lack of sidelight recovery that ultimately spelled disaster for Loco.
Trying to read what Creed is saying and I don't understand. Your color saturation.
I don't know. I can't touch game saturation. Maybe your monitor is unsaturated.
Nice, get him.
Got him. I also don't have any saturation effects on the gameplay itself. Anyways, I guess that's the best of 3, Winan. Notes?
Okay, sorry, you're gonna hear Miko crying. He's crying right now. So yeah, I gotta go take care of him. So my notes, I don't have too many. I think you guys are actually getting tired. But I do want to acknowledge that Rami, you did a good job with saying how, Rami, you were talking about Wushang players, other like players who have played Wushang and like why and so forth, and then Duke, you did a good follow-up on like, here's why they play Wushang. It's probably because of his gauntlets and yada yada yada. So that example was great as far as you guys like flowing with each other. Duke, you did a good analysis of why Wushang is amazing at abusing his SIGs or whatever, but you talked for way too fucking long. You need to let Rami follow up for you. And the part where I yelled and interrupt y'all, I'm sorry, but seriously, Duke, you like went on for fucking forever. And I don't think you had any good reason to. I feel like if you are going to talk a lot longer than you should, you better come up with, it better be like a really poignant and amazing point. But if you don't have that, let Rami continue your thought or finish your thought for you and lead into another topic. I liked how you guys, or I think Duke, you did this, it was like their second match. They were like on Twilight. I like you talking about maps and why it's good for whatever reason. That's great. Like keep adding those little tidbits into your analysis. I think the reason why you guys are talking so long, or like longer than you should, is because I know you guys are like thinking on the spot, but more so than that, I think it's because you guys are still getting used to being an analyst. And of course, being an analyst, there's so many goddamn things you can say, but you can only say in such, in a short amount of time. So I guess what I'm going to ask you guys to work on is, because you guys are doing well with like connecting each other's points, you guys need to work on your analysis part. I obviously know you guys can do play-by-play. That's great and dandy, but your analysis, it's a little too long. It's making you guys talk for too long. You guys need to make it a little bit more concise, or just get to the point a little bit faster instead of just going on and on and on. I'm not saying talk faster. I'm just saying just be a little bit more straight to the point with it.
Wilson?
No, my God,
Go
dude.
to hell. Go to hell. Go to hell.
Oh my God.
You're dog shit.
The joke was
Jesus.
awesome. All
That
right.
was not. No. Anyways, for that last match, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I don't know what happened, but you guys had a lot more pauses than usual. I don't know if you guys were thinking of what to say. The other person ended their thought way too early, and whatever it may be. Maybe you guys are getting tired. It is fucking like midnight, but there were a lot more pauses than usual. So I think that just comes with practice, just being able to finish up what a person is trying to say, or acknowledge what they're saying, and then lead into another topic. I think that just takes practice. I don't know, but there were a lot more pauses than usual. I think for the post-match talk, I think you guys did a great job at analyzing like Creed individually and then Coco individually, like why this worked for Creed and why it didn't work for Coco. I think to improve upon that, you guys need to come up with better lead-ins, because I had one caster talk about Creed and his kill efficiency, and then all of a sudden that wasn't acknowledged, not really, and it led into Coco. I think you guys need to think of better ways to lead into each other's thoughts. Sorry that you can hear Miko barking, by the way. I think he has to go to the restroom. That's why he's like crying. So that was pretty much my last note. You can talk about Creed, acknowledge his kill efficiency, talk a little bit more about that, and then like an essay, lead into Coco and shit. Just don't do it so abruptly. just come up with better lead-ins. But that's pretty much all I have to say. I gotta take care of this Doge.
Okay.
I think you guys are improving though. You guys are flowing a lot better, and you guys are incorporating play-by-play and analysis during the match and after the match. Like, you guys are doing better. There's just always room for improvement. And honestly, these are just my thoughts and my opinions. When you guys, you know, get coached again by Brandon, he could easily say something fucking different. I just think that you guys are doing a lot better at being friends and like connecting your thoughts. Just trust in your other co-caster and just let him finish your thought instead of talking for like 20 seconds. These guys, are you watching what's happening?
Yeah, I'm watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta go take care of Miko because he's barking.
Alright, I'm probably gonna go to sleep, Winan. Just letting you know.
Oh, Skype me, bro.
Alright. Alright, I guess that is it. I think Winan is done, or whatever, I'll get on Skype. Anything else you wanna say, Remy?
Nope.
Alright, I'm gonna stop this.